I pressed the
Are you
live
talking
button.
about dumping sludge?
Starting broadcast, and now
Okay,
it should
that's
show
right.
up on the Plat Chat channel that we're live with Plat Chat episode 263. AVRL just disappeared.
Turned off his camera. Immediately turned
Everyone
off his
in
camera.
chat is
He's
like,
going rat souls.
please go live.
He's going to play rat souls.
He's
Welcome
swapping over to the gameplay.
to this SLMN-less production. We are here today. We are gathered for episode 263. Sorry we're late, by the way. Everyone in charge is freaking out. We're 7 minutes late. We're too busy talking about tariffs. Our bad.
So
And,
true.
Yeah.
so
That's what
true.
we do on this. That's
Yeah.
what we do. We discuss geopolitical matters.
Yeah. Before every episode, we sit down 15 minutes and we just talk about politics. That's what
We
we
have a
do.
round
Yeah.
table.
Okay.
Definitely.
You know that one
a-
image of
a
like
big
all the
interest of
kids
me.
that are sitting around the couch discussing the Fortnite
That's
update?
that's the politics. That's us in tariffs.
That's it. That's
I
how it
can't pull
works.
that up now. Solomon would have pulled that up, but I cannot because I.
Dude, so much of the internet runs on Solomon. Do you guys realize
It's on
this?
Solomon,
Like,
yeah.
the
It's
Rivals
true.
Fight Night broadcast, like, I'm no disrespect to our producers. Obviously, they did a great job, but like that shit was like shitting the bed a little bit, and everyone's like, "Damn, wish Solomon was here." Like, Solomon's not here for Plat Chat. Like, Solomon's like has to be 15% of the internet. Look, now we're just next.
And
to now
Avral's
we just have
dead again,
Avril.
and we got this.
Where did Avril
background
go?
and-
He was literally just
No,
here.
AVRL put that up, surely. Didn't AVRL put that a minute up? I didn't touch anything.
He was literally just here playing Rat Souls and asking how to beat a boss, and now he's fucking gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where bro went. All right. So
Tired as
Bro's
fuck.
dead.
originally we were supposed to be live on
Solomon
Tuesday.
grayscale him. There it is. He's grayscaled. What's
He's
happening?
No, this is.
I don't know.
This is I'm not touching anything. I don't know.
It
There's
has
like
to be
ghosts
Avril.
in the video right now. I have no idea what's going on.
Just kidding,
Oh,
guys.
he's-
Just kidding, guys.
What a prank.
What
What
a
a
prank.
No, I'm dead again.
Oh,
Actually, I'm dead again.
yeah.
My bad. No,
That was
I'm
a
gonna
funny
die.
episode without you.
Oh
See,
Now I'm
that's
alive
a
again.
good bit.
Now I'm dead
Dude,
again.
and it's just
I'm
and it's
alive
just
again.
after
Oh my
Easter
God.
as well. It fits lore-wise. It fits.
Right after
Law,
Easter.
yeah, that's true.
It fits lore
Real life
wise.
law.
I was born out of an egg. I was born out of an egg.
it's
True,
I mean,
guys.
wasn't technically
Well, it was
wasn't
Jesus.
everyone?
Why are
technically,
there
yeah,
eggs?
not like a hard egg.
Yeah. If you
I'm
wanna
gonna be honest,
if
I
you wanna
can't
be
tell
scientifically
you.
accurate, then yes, I guess.
I don't
guess
know
so.
where the eggs in Easter came from. I don't think Jesus hatched, so I'd not.
Yes,
quite
you
totally
do.
certain.
Big egg industry is
egg.
trying to sell you the eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So they created the entire Easter hoax to sell you. Don't
The
get caught.
Easter
Don't let
hoax.
Big Egg lie to you about the truth about where eggs came from, guys.
I
Right?
don't know if there was
true.
that much controversy
you
around
need to know.
eggs in like 2,000 years ago necessarily.
They were probably
So
also
I'm-
complaining about the price of eggs. Let's be
Big
real.
They
egg
probably
industry.
were. They were like,
I
"Holy
get you.
fuck! This is 3 iron ingots, man! Like this is insane! Like
Three
they need
iron
to bring this
ingots
down."
for 24 eggs.
I'm working all day in the mines. And what's next? I mean, they told me that I have to put like
And
what,
then-
50 pots for a dozen eggs. I'm sculpting all day.
And here's the rest of the history. Then one day, Big Chocolate came around and found nudes of Big Egg, and was threatened and blackmailed them and said, "You know what? You gotta buy us into the whole conspiracy." And then Big Egg and Big Chocolate came together.
They came
and that's
together
why
and
you
made
all buy
chocolate
chocolate
eggs.
eggs now. Exactly.
Dude, that's so
That's
There you
right.
go.
Big egg.
Let's start a
and
really
big
weird
chocolate.
fringe conspiracy, so we go down the deeper, darker rabbit hole.
This
of
really
YouTube.
makes a lot of sense, especially because chocolate was from like the Americas, so like no
Yeah.
one had heard of that
Yeah.
shit for like thousands of more years, other than like the Native Americans and like fucking Mayans and shit. So you know,
I don't know what the lore is with eggs, but I could totally see someone in like a conference room for eggs and just be like, let's paint pretty eggs for Easter, and then
a
everyone's
conference room
I'm
for
gonna
eggs.
assume like
Like,
most
yeah,
of
for the
like
people who work a big egg.
I'm gonna assume it's like a pagan thing. Like they took
It's
it from
probably
like,
some sort
And
of
honestly,
pagan
they
thing.
took it from
I-
sort of pagan religion. And
I
they
gotta
just
be careful. If
incorporated
if I tell the truth and say anymore, they're gonna kill me.
Big egg and a
it.
big away. Still
This
got
is a
the
good,
bit.
very good bit. Very
Alright,
good
we're
bit.
Plus
done.
two,
That's
plus
all I
two.
had.
That's a good bit.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. So before we get into the episode for real then, so we're live obviously, for the audio listeners. We got Jaws, Avril, and Avast. We're running it back from last week. I just need people in chat to tell me that audio is good, because last time I produced an episode, Avast sound like cut in and out, and everyone was like, what is wrong with this episode? It was unlistenable.
Dude.
So
Wait,
know
was
the
that the
ninth-
one from like
You know
a
the
week
ninth
ago,
layer
or-
of hell is just audio issues on a stream?
Yeah.
That is the ninth layer of hell. It's,
Yeah.
it's the worst.
It
I
wasn't
hate
the one
audio.
from a week ago when we had Solomon, right?
No, it was in
we were talking
January.
about from like, this had to be like
I
ages
produced an
ago.
episode
Okay.
in January.
Oh, January.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I had like a noise gate filter on, and so
remember that.
every
Oh,
other
I
word
do
from
remember
Avast
that.
was cut off. And so,
Hmm.
and it was pre-recorded, so we couldn't fix it. But this is live now, so everyone says that audio is good. Johnny, you're quieter than Avast and AVRL. That's fine. I'm
Yeah,
the
make
host.
yourself louder, and then it's perfect.
Okay,
Absolutely perfect.
Johnny's hard to hear. Okay, I'll turn myself up a little bit there. All right. We're good. We're good. We're here to talk about Champions Clash and recap the weekend that was. We were originally supposed to be on Tuesday, but then all of a sudden, me and Jaws, we found ourselves in a Overwatch stack with Tim the Tatman and J3 and Apply, and we're like, let's just play Stadium all day.
Stack.
And we reverse swept the game. It was thrilling. I haven't played a single game of comp. I'm gonna say this. I haven't played a single game of comp. I've just played
really?
Stadium. I've just played
Yeah,
Stadium.
no,
for
we played some comp. Me and Jay played yesterday. It was fun. Comp's good. Comp's good now. We'll talk about it later, I'm sure.
Comp's good
Comp
now.
is good.
I don't know if it's going. I don't know if it's coming on this episode necessarily, but
I won't talk about it so bad. But yeah, we'll talk. We'll mention it later.
People are asking why
Johnny, do
Jaws
you wanna-
is sideways, but I don't really.
Jaws
sideways.
Admin, he's going sideways.
He's going. Are they referring to the fact that we have AVRL and Jaws like on they're like the flared wings? You know, are they referring to that? Wow, you guys don't see that? They're a little flared for me. They're like we've built like it's a concave.
Oh, what you should do
Oh, you
is
mean
in
like
the
we're like this, like looking at
Yeah,
you? Is
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like we
Even
should
better.
discuss this way.
even better would be like if you actually physically skewed the camera boxes to match it more, and then it
My
looks
camera's
like
also off center.
then it looks like we're four big heads in the Hangzhou arena, which we got to explain for the viewers
Four
the
big
background
heads.
choice today. Is the choice of background basically we're being inserted into the stage because none of us actually went to China, so this is the closest all of us get to go to China.
I just took the winning scenario. So in the background of us, the Crazy Raccoon have won, but you can't see it because we're over the image.
Spoilers!
But
Oh
you
my
know.
god, spoilers!
Now people that hadn't watched the tournament that are tuning in to hear our discussion have been spoiled. This is so messed up that he would say that right off.
Here's another spoiler for you. Usually we do member question of the week. This time I opened the floodgates. I let everyone chime in. But if you want to ask a question each week for a Plat Chat episode, make sure you subscribe to the channel, obviously, and then I leave a post up weekly, and you can comment the question there. So there you go. But I opened it up, and I got one question here from Luigi. Is Reinforced
Stop
dead?
smiling of us. What are you
Is
smiling
Reinforced
at?
dead because of the Wheel of Death? Jaws?
Yeah.
Am
Dude,
I
I can't
dead?
see this, bro.
What?
It's so pixelated. What did it say? It's
Wait, you
reinforced
can't
dead.
see it.
It is really.
It's
no
really
way.
big. Yeah,
I don't know.
dude.
It's-
Dude, it's
I don't
like
know if it's
5
going to the
pixels.
stream. I don't know if it's going to the
200
stream.
kbs down. Like, it's
But
crazy.
it does
Are you
look-
Very
serious?
pixelated.
It
Well,
does
it's
look
probably not going to the
extremely
stream. It's probably you just streaming through video or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
my ass was like, there's like 1 pixel per word there.
Are you serious? Oh my
Am
god.
You're
I
asking
serious?
him like, it's like, does this look good? And
It's just a
it's
blur.
a potato. It looks like a captcha. It's
No
all
way,
like
it
fuzzy.
does. It
What
looks
about
like a
now?
capture. Nah, I mean, the
like
whole... Dude, you're not going to be able to fix this. This has been a problem forever, but it just looks ass. Normally,
I actually get. There we go. Now,
Oh,
if you
there
zoom
it
in,
is.
it's
There it
better.
is.
There
It's
yeah, there you
huge
can
now.
see it.
It's reinforced dead because of the Wheel of Death. We're answering that question in stage 2.
What?
We're answering that
Stage
question in
2.
stage 2.
By the way,
Wow, what a story.
I don't know why no one brought this up, but I saw Jack when you spun the wheel before you brought up the Wheel of Death. I
Yeah.
saw you literally put your hand on the wheel to stop it. It's like, nope, we're gonna stop the wheel right here on the skull, and then we're gonna bring on the second.
It's called a
wheel.
bit. It's called a bit. It's bits on top of bits on top of bits.
I know, but
The
like no
whole
one
skit.
said it. Like no
Nah,
one in the
bro.
audience. Like I was like, wait, did he just rigged the game? And like no one caught on. I was like, what's going on?
It's
No one in the
always
audience
been
caught on.
rigged. It's always been rigged.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm biased.
Basically-
I'm gonna be
Really
honest. I barely remember this. Like, I was so tired. I like don't remember half the shit that we might talk about because my
He just like fixes it back.
Bring on the wheel. Bring on the second wheel.
second wheel.
This was so
No, it
good.
was
That
good.
nice.
Basically, I
You know,
watched a
Neko
ton
really sold
of
it.
Eric Andre over the last like couple of weeks, and yeah, just kind of like
Okay,
Yeah.
if you really wanted to get wacky with it, one of you should have like elbow plunged through the table. if you
yeah.
really
Well,
were
that's the
watching
thing.
it.
That would have been really fun, and they are moving out of that studio, so maybe we could have done that.
That would
we
have been
just-
sick if you could have like the desk.
How about we
like,
just pile
someone
drive
body
Jake or
slammed it.
Johnny through the desk?
Well,
That
they're
would
gonna
be
keep
sick.
the
As a
desks,
bit.
surely. Is the desks... No, they can move that stuff around.
Is this is obviously not the normal studio you guys have used over the past year.
No,
Was
this
this like
is a
a
different one.
Did you guys use this one just for the Hangzhou Champions Clash?
Because
Or?
the one we originally were using for like Overwatch League and OWCS, they closed it.
Yeah.
Because they were
Oh,
consolidating into this studio, and now this studio is also gone. This is the last show in this studio.
Is OWCS over, guys? What's going on?
Yeah,
What?
the
Is it
studio's
just-
gone. Yeah, no.
Is that what the skull wheel was for? It's actually for the death of
Yeah.
the broadcast? Like, what's
Yeah.
happening, guys?
We're killing
They're announcing
everybody
for
on
the
stage
studio.
too.
That was for the studio.
We're killing everybody.
I'm
I
sure
really enjoyed
we're
this bit. I don't know.
sacrificing.
Connor, you weren't awake, so Avril,
I mean, I was
well.
awake, but like I just barely like legitimately like I'm
You were
like,
in the
people will
ether.
tell
You
me
were drifting
something,
in and out.
and
It was-
I'm like,
we-
oh, that sounds
Ether.
right.
I don't know if Connor remembers this, but because I coached him the whole thing with Bro on the week, and me and him, we did the whole thing together, and he was pretty. I think for the first 2 hours of each day, he was good, and then
Yeah.
like the delirium starts to set in. But one of my favorite moments was when you were on the desk, Jack. At the end of the day, everyone else was like finished. It was like just you and Ash, I'm pretty sure, and Rose, obviously.
Yeah.
And Connor was like, dude, look how tired Jack is. Meanwhile, this guy's also delirious as well. Both of you. I was just like, which one of you is more tired? I'm just wondering which between the two of you guys.
It might
You
have
know,
been a tie, honestly.
I was. Which day was that?
They
I
won.
think it was the first day. I think it was the first
Oh,
If
day.
it was
First
first
day.
day, I was way more tired for sure because he had PST advantage. Now, to be fair, you do go to bed at farmer hours, so I'm unsure. To be fair, so
Yeah.
there is a disadvantage. For
The
Jack
shifting
as well.
of the sleep schedule was a little crazy. I will say my energy was a little low here, but it's what it is. I mean, that's what you get when I have to wake
What
up.
can you fucking do when
like,
you're
go
on
to bed
Chinatown?
late.
You
Yeah,
know,
I mean-
like it's just it'd be like that sometimes. It just be
Yeah.
like
As
that.
soon as you get into the rhythm of it, it feels good. But yeah, it was just a little slow start.
It was insane. It
It was crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
I loved it. I don't know what you guys are complaining about.
It was
Oh,
it was a good
yeah.
time.
Yeah,
for you. It was like the
Avril was
first time
so
it was
high
good for Avril.
energy.
Yeah.
He was like
That's
showed up.
great.
He's like, "Yo, can't wait to start." I'm like, and he's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, guys,
Our-
yeah."
Our dynamic was wired and tired. Where obviously I came in.
Wired and tired.
I came in big energy because I was ready, and this guy was exhausted.
He's having the time of his fucking life. He's having the time. And the first day was the worst because I didn't have a chair, a proper chair. So I had like a wooden dining room set chair. So my back was just getting absolutely blasted.
This guy's
My
complaining
back
about his
and my
ass. This guy was
The
complaining
whole
about his
time.
ass for like
It
3
was just
hours.
getting blasted. I was wearing like wedged pillows and finally I had a wheelchair because I finally got my stuff because I didn't even have.
Wait,
any
you
of
don't
my
put a
stuff, so
pillow
it was
on your seat?
Well, I did that day, but now I don't because I have
Okay.
my regular chair. But at the time, I had a wooden dining room chair, and even with the pillow, it barely protected my ass. I don't have enough. I didn't go to Dr. Miami. I don't have enough cushion back there to protect me. It's not possible.
Yeah, it definitely the late hours definitely led to some delirious stuff. On the second day, me and Jake, we casted a series at 6 a.m. That was definitely some of our
Yeah.
craziest works.
Oh, that was the last game, right?
Yeah, the last game of the day. It
Yes.
was the fifth best of 5 or something, and it started like 5:30 or something. And Jake just downed like a Celsius and just like he was like a machine gun on the cast. He was just like going crazy with it, and I was like, "Oh, the 6 a.m., bro!" Like trying to analyze. It was it was rough to adjust to. It was a show. It was one of the shows of all
2021 be
time.
like.
Oh well. Should we get
Is
into
what it
the
is.
series a little bit? Any additional thoughts
Sure.
on the sleep schedule while we're at it? But
That's it, brother. I mean, if
That's
we
it.
do more China events, get ready to stay up late. If
Yeah.
there's more China coming in. Because Chinese Overwatch, the event was fucking sick nasty. So I'm like, well.
The
like,
opening
maybe-
ceremony was unbelievable.
Yeah,
It was
this guy was
like
awake for the opening
man.
ceremony. That's the
Oh,
good news.
man.
Avast was definitely awake for that. Afterwards,
Yeah.
I can't tell, but
I was.
he called the
Wasn't
opening
good.
ceremony. That was good.
The
That was
opening
good.
ceremony slapped. It was one of the best ones we've ever had, I think, genuinely.
yeah,
It was
even
really cool.
even earlier.
Second only to DJ Khaled. Let's be real.
So
I mean,
true.
DJ Khaled was crazy. I mean, this is the highest produced event in OWCS history, like Overwatch Esports history, it feels, since like Season 1, Season 2 Overwatch League. So, like, I don't think we've had a higher produced event in Overwatch since Season 2. Probably.
Initiate mission Hangzhou.
The AI was really nice.
Yeah,
I
they
actually
are.
kind of missed the AI stuff
Yeah,
for
it was
esports.
so
Like,
sick.
we haven't done a lot of AR in Overwatch history, and I feel like it. I mean, it can look tacky and bad, but I thought this was done super well. Me personally.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of the only things that you can do for I mean, in general, it's cool for live events just having AR, but I think for esports in particular, because there's not a lot of like, there's not a lot you can do with practical effects, you know, like unless we're gonna bring out like a lab-grown Winston to hop across the stage and like drop a bubble and like shoot a taser into someone. Like, I don't think like essentially all you can do is like AR and like fun digital production style things with this. So. Yeah. I do think AR, like cool looking AR like this, does really.
It is awesome. Like, look at this stuff.
Yeah, I didn't really expect any of this. I had no expectation or leaks or any information that any of this was going to be on there. My expectation for these events is more like in line with Dallas or Stockholm, which is it's good, but it's not like this level of production. You know, this was like kind of way beyond my expectation.
I liked all the little player selfies. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
Some of them were literally just selfies, not like player profile shots. It was kind of funny.
And they put so much emphasis on like the regions coming together. It's really cool. So like, oh, we got North America in here, we got the EMEA in here. It really highlighted the teams and players. So yeah, I mean, this was amazing.
Yeah, whoever did the production for this knocked it out of the park. Like, I was actually talking because like Seth came in a couple times in the coach and we're like, this looks like Valorant Masters type of production with like the circular stage and the things coming up like the LED panel on the stage and all of that kind of stuff as well. Super cool. The sort of circular setup is not something we usually get in Overwatch either, because it's more like a standard stage with players facing the audience, whereas this is like a... Because we've had like the square setup with the two teams like looking at each other like the 2022 finals, but I think the circular setups, I think maybe only the Overwatch World Cup had something like this, but it didn't have the rest of the, you know, the production behind it.
Yeah. The 2022 Grand Finals in Irvine, that was a circular setup, right?
No, that was a square, because they were there like...
Wow, okay.
Bro remembers the geometric shape? He remembers the geometric shapes of the stages?
I got the fucking protractor out, whatever. I
mean, RFK Jr. is going to put you in a camp, brother. Like, they're going to keep a track of you in America.
Christ.
Like, you can remember the shape of the stages from 3 years ago? That's incredible.
I want to make it clear that it is possible to torture with seed oils. I will not survive unless it's beef tallow. So
wow.
I will not survive.
Holy shit!
It's gonna be like the COVID days. We'll be slammed with like a misinformation tag or something on the video.
There is fun fact. So the announcer they got for this, because I was reading some of the fan posted translations of some of the stuff from China, and Wendy, she did a whole thing on Weibo or something that got translated. She mentioned. She's the Chinese host who was doing the interviews with Danny. She mentioned that the stage host in China that was doing the stage hosting, bringing the players out and all that, is apparently like a professional sports stage host.
Wow.
Oh,
so
right. He did have kind of that vibe.
Yeah. I don't know what sport he normally does, but apparently he's like an actual traditional sports announcer.
Hope he did like a really like insane sport where it's like, yeah, this guy does like underwater polo, like like something where it's like just complete nonsense,
like
but
dots,
it's so funny.
Yeah, but 10 out of 10. I think the atmosphere was awesome. Graphics were awesome. And I mean, I'm not quite sure like who did this.
What about the AI portraits though? That was a little funky though. The AI player portraits.
I can't tell. Were these AI portraits or were they just stylized portraits?
Because it half looks like an Instagram, like heavy Instagram filtery kind of thing. You know what I mean? Or like like cartoon.
Like I can't tell if
filter.
these were just like stylized filters on the portraits, or if these were like they actually did them with AI. But like I don't know. But it was still fun looking. It was cool. Like it's nice to have. Like,
it reminded me of.
It's definitely different.
No one will get this reference, but it reminded me of like Fox when they do the NFL broadcasts. They literally have like freaking comic art drawn for like every player. So when they score a touchdown, it's just like this dude who looks like a comic.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, it's so weird actually.
Hey, listen, I watched the draft, the NFL draft. Okay, I saw Shadur Down.
I didn't even do that.
Oh, okay, well, you're not the same boat.
They have a
as I
great
am.
time of us watching the NFL draft.
Yeah. I was hoping to bait you with that because I didn't watch the draft. I only know that because I knew the hex. So I wasn't able to bait you with that.
No, it's definitely in my content consumption cycle, the NFL stuff, and I'm like, I don't care about this. Like, I have no interest. They drafted some offensive tackle. Anyway.
So did you watch the Overwatch League draft?
Yeah, the Overwatch League draft. Yo, that would have been... Dude, we would have been
Combine?
farming. The War
the
Room...
Combine would have been sick.
The Overwatch League draft War Room, and we were doing an episode, and we're like, oh, if I was a Hacto Spark here, you know... Love to pick up proper here, but you know, leave Chinese player, you know, get a anyway.
The best they could have done is they make it last thing about the combine last thing about the combine, the best they could have done is they literally make them do physical exercise that have nothing to do with playing video games, just to mirror the
They're
NFL
running
combine.
sprints.
Yeah, they're running sprints and doing bench presses for no
Okay, that would
reason.
go hard.
And just to
That
copy the
would be
NFL.
so funny.
It has nothing to do with esports.
Oh my
But,
god, they're
I
like
also wanted
checking
to-
their vertical. Holy shit, that's funny.
I also wanted to touch up on the closing ceremony with the Juno running around the Ember. They actually put the Juno Ember skin in the AR running around the stage, and then
It was
like
cool.
doing. I think she did the orbital ray in the middle of
Yeah.
the stage.
Was
The
this
only
before the
thing I
final?
would have. That was the grand finals closing
the opening.
ceremony or
Yeah,
opening
yeah.
for grand
Closing
finals.
ceremony.
It was
Opening-
opening for grand finals, no?
Opening. I mean, it's at the end of the tournament. I don't know.
Whatever
Either
it
way,
was, yeah.
the ceremony on the last day. The point is that I think the only thing that could have been better with that is if when the orbital ray came down, it revealed the players in the middle. It was like, oh, that would have been the perfect one. But it was pretty good. Other
Oh.
than that, it was really nice though.
Yeah,
Still, like for Overwatch, like I didn't expect anything like that in terms of.
Here you go.
Yeah,
Here you go.
I just
Yeah, there
like
you
this
go.
a lot.
There's
It's
the
so
Juno.
sick, man.
Yeah, it is actually.
It's cool that it was like in the skin as well, like in the Ember skin.
That's
I
crazy.
thought that
Actually,
was, thought that was wicked. It was cool, man.
Holy shit,
it was really,
she
really
fucking
cool.
exploded.
yeah. And then I got a highlight package.
Yeah. Nice
Torpedo
little
build.
highlight
Stadium
I
torpedo
don't even
build.
remember
She
that.
fucking
I
exploded.
don't remember her fucking explode. They killed
This is-
Juno
Yeah,
live
the
in
vast
the
first
show?
time
canonically,
watching
they
the
killed
ceremony.
Juno.
Dude, I don't remember. This happened? I barely remember. I would have remembered
What a
if
fever
Juno
dream
had
for you.
fucking exploded. I don't remember. I don't remember
My
that
guy
at all.
was not like existing in this.
I'm-
Like,
dude, it
This
was
is gonna
rough.
be a
It was
great
rough.
recap. We're all just like.
He's
No,
angry.
okay.
I don't remember
Com-
shit.
Do you remember the orbital
competitive?
ray?
No. Competitive wise, I remember the stuff like this, like the filler arcs. You know, like I'm just like I don't. The filler arcs, like the filler episodes. I'm like, okay, let's get it past. Like Joey's gonna go to the museum or something. Like I don't care. Like it's just that's a Friends reference. Okay, you guys didn't watch Friends. That's a
Yeah,
Friends
I know
reference,
what Friends is. I did wonder if you're Joey goes to the museum.
but like it's just
Only 90s kids are gonna get this one.
I
Only
was like,
90s.
which Yu-Gi-Oh episode did Joey go to a museum? Is that when he got the
No,
red-eyes black
dude,
dragon?
a
Yeah, the
Yu-Gi-Oh
one-
episode. That would have been a better
oh.
reference. That would have been a better reference than the one I made, honestly. But I don't remember enough about Yu-Gi-Oh, the TV show.
Dude, he
Yeah, like that.
played Celtic Guardian in defense mode in that episode. I remember.
Okay. Anyway, that's all. I just wanted to bring up that ceremony as well because I just thought the whole
cool.
Juno thing was cool.
Yeah.
That's all I
Chinese
have to
esports
say
on
on
top.
It was
Chinese
awesome.
esports on
All
top,
that.
baby.
I actually
The
really hope we
production's
get.
always been top tier.
I actually really hope we get another event now in China because that was awesome.
Yeah, so
that was
do I.
awesome.
Honestly, I think we should just do them. I think.
Full of Chinese, we're just all
We,
events in China?
honestly, like we should just. I mean, it's just the TikTok of the guy. It's like, oh, going to heaven. It's like, oh, I shouldn't expect it was going to be Chinese. Like, this is like the, like, yeah. It's a really good TikTok. If Solomon was here, he could pull this up. I know the people that are TikTok people know what I'm talking about, but essentially, that's me looking at this. Is like, we should just go full Chinese. Let's just go full China. You know, let's just do it. Like,
Let's just
at
embrace
this
it.
point, let's just do it. That's fine. I'm fine to learn Chinese. I'll learn. Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. I'll do it. Like 100%. It's. Time
I
to
will
just
give
commit.
up Stockholm, my home country, my capital city, for
If
another
we get
event
this
in,
again,
for another
I
event
mean-
in China. Yeah, why
Well, also
not?
because the crowd's good too. The crowd was good.
The crowd
Like it
was
wasn't
awesome, yeah.
amazing. It wasn't the best crowd of all time, but it was a good crowd.
All respect to
And,
Swedish
like,
people,
it
but
was a
like,
good crowd.
you know, let's go back to
All
Shanghai or
respect to-
something.
He hates Swedish people, by the way. That's all he does.
We
he talks
had
shit
the
about Sweden.
finals like last year, so you know.
Yeah, I'm
let's
not
explore
saying
the
I'm not
world.
saying you were bashing the finals. I'm just saying every time we went to Sweden, you're like, I don't really like Sweden that much. I'm like, what the fuck are you saying?
Okay, the
bro?
winter is
It's
pretty
not
depressing.
that bad, bro.
It's depressing. The sun sets at like 3 p.m. Anyway,
Okay,
Um,
sure.
it's depressing. That's all. The summer, great in Sweden. The summer, that's when you
Yes.
should go. That's when you should go.
Connor, you
Somewhere
got to
in
be
Europe.
careful. If you continue gassing up China like that, you're gonna get individually tariffed. Just you personally.
Yeah, take me out.
Individually.
Individually.
That's fine. I'll just go to, and then maybe we have one event in like France too. Like we can do like a couple in China, then like one in France just to throw them a bone, and then like if America's lucky, you can get one event, okay? Because North
single
America
one.
hasn't earned. They haven't earned the esport events that they're getting. Honestly, China, they've been like they just haven't. They're ungrateful. Like I haven't been impressed with the North American crowds. The only North American crowd that brings any energy is COD, and the problem with COD is that it's Call of Duty.
Toronto
So, like,
was good.
you just can't-
Toronto
Yeah.
was great. Toronto
Toronto
was
was
really
pretty solid. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Toronto was
Dude,
pretty
I love
solid.
Toronto.
It was good.
good. Especially.
But did you love Toronto for the event or because you were in Toronto though?
No, I thought the
both,
crowd.
actually.
The crowd
I
was
liked
awesome.
Toronto. Yeah, oh yeah, crowd in Toronto was sick too. Yeah, I thought the crowd was awesome in Toronto.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. especially for Hangzhou. They were so loud for Hangzhou Spark. It's crazy.
Yeah, they went crazy. Sick.
All right. Before we jump into the grand finals and we'll go through some of the teams, all of them actually. Let's take a look at the bracket. This was the bracket that unfolded. Can you see any of this, or is it too small?
I can see it.
Okay. So
Yeah.
obviously, Crazy Raccoon, they beat Team Falcons 4-2, coming from the lower bracket. Team Falcons, relatively easy upper bracket, barely also once again in the semifinals.
Have we got our bracket, by the way?
They prevailed. Yes, I do actually. I can show that
Okay,
later. Yeah,
good.
they prevailed after an unfortunate Ajax by Mew. It has to be said on Esperanza. Nightmare got third after beating Crazy Raccoon, which was the biggest upset probably in Overwatch Esports history. Once again, got dominated by Crazy Raccoon in the lower bracket, and Space Station Virtus Pro went out in the quarterfinals here. So, I'd ask what are your biggest takeaways in the bracket, but it's obviously Nightmare getting third, right? So, easy answer.
I guess it kind of has to be. I will say, because I wasn't here last week for that the bracket, but I would have defended once again a little harder if I was it, and proof being that I did in fact make my own bracket that I posted on Twitter a day before the tournament, so I'm not some
I saw that,
2020
yeah.
hindsight Andy pretending. I was like, no, I actually will post a bracket before the tournament just to show that what I think could happen. Part of it was like, this is maybe a hot take bracket, but part of it's like, no, I think once again could do really well. I knew it was going to be a good meta for them. Home crowd advantage is huge, and I had heard already that they were kind of good in scrims too. And they we'll get to it at some stage, but they even made some comments that they did pretty well in scrims after the fact once they did their whole post-mortem to their fans. But I think the whole fact that they ended up playing 3 matches in one day was pretty rough, because they had to do the Falcons game, into the Space Station game, into the Crazy Raccoon game, all in the same day. And by the time they got to the Crazy Raccoon game, this was from the translation from Wendy's Weibo. It's OA were visibly quite tired by the time they got to their game, and Shy apparently had some food poisoning from a potato he ate.
Yeah,
So potato gate
crazy,
2025.
What?
Just
They're
a potato
putting
giving
the
him food
You
poisoning.
have the NYXL fire ramen stomach boom moment
yeah,
from was
the
it 2018, and now you got the 2025 potato gate of Shy. So
They said on their personal streams that they had not, because they had not played on a LAN in so long, in this scale as well, they just physically weren't prepared for the level of, or not level, sorry, just the amount of games that they had to play and maps. It's crazy.
I mean, realistically, right? They got to map 5 against Falcons, and at that point, it's peak adrenaline. It's peak adrenaline. Oh my god, we're about to beat Falcons. We're playing sick, and then we AJ, and then you have to mentally reset for SSG. Just having been through that whole adrenaline up and down, it's so hard to go through that insane high of adrenaline, and then you have to reset and get ready for the next game and settle down. And it's very hard to get back to a high level of focus and energy after that. So I mean, I actually buy it. But you could say the same thing for Crazy Raccoon, but I actually buy it more in once again's case.
I think for Crazy Raccoon, in my own personal bracket, I had Crazy Raccoon playing once again twice. In the upper bracket final and the grand final, I had them beating once again twice, because I think matchup-wise, if we're talking raw dive, I back the Crazy Raccoon dive a lot more than once again dive, even though that's once again's best composition. I think stylistic Crazy Raccoon matchup in the OA super well. So in that particular matchup, even if it was fully energized, we play it on the next day, we give the players a break. I still think Crazy Raccoon actually probably beat once again in that matchup. Might be closer, but
Man, it was
I just
so
think Crazy
one-sided.
Raccoon. And by the time we got there, you could tell Crazy Raccoon on a different level. And this is maybe we can swing back to the Nightmare conversation here as well. But I think there was a big difference. You can just see it in the gameplay between how Crazy Raccoon looked in the OA game versus how they looked in the Nightmare game. And that's regardless of the opponent they were playing. You just look at only the Crazy Raccoon POV and what they were doing. You can see how different their own POVs look between those matches.
Yeah, at that point, they were ready to go, yeah. Avast?
Listen, I'm going to say my Falcons belief was good, though. Everyone was like, no. Look at me. Cruised on through the bracket, made it to grand finals. Now, did they lose? Yeah, they did lose. They did lose. But I felt like we were a little too down on Falcons going into this event. and so I feel slightly vindicated on that as well. Because
Were they ever
you
not
know
going to
who
make
the-
finals? They were always going to make finals.
No,
Come
no, no.
on,
We
surely?
had we had them like we had like a crazy. I'm pretty sure there was like we have like them potentially not making it in a bracket. I can't remember, but
No,
either way,
making it.
there's not as much belief. Little did we know that you could just force Malga the entire time, and it was fine. Little did we know you could just play Malga anyways. Doesn't even matter if he gets nerfed. You just fucking play it, and it's fine. So now I learned a lot. Where does the square peg go? The round hole. The round hole. Thank you, Falcons.
He's so TikTok build is crazy.
Wait, how depressed was everyone? Map 1, match 1 of Hangzhou, and you see it's Amalgamera. Be real. How depressed was everyone when they saw that?
we were pretty. We were like, oh. But
dude, on the broadcast, I was like, oh shit.
It's Amalgamera straight away.
It's actually just straight up Malgamera. I'm like, if I get an entire series where I'm finally casting once again and it's just Malga, I'm gonna fucking, dude, there's cars outside I could jump in front of.
Yeah.
And it would be a switch.
What you're trying to say is you're gonna bring out the Wheel of Death. That's what you're saying.
I would bring out the Wheel of Death, spin it for myself, and yeah, I will collapse. Yeah. But obviously, thankfully, it wasn't. And to be fair, precedent across the tournament had said, like, you know, Malga's not like perma meta, we're good. So I had some faith. Also, to be fair as well, another thought that popped into my head was like, okay, obviously they're gonna try and play Malga in these small ass maps. Like, surely we go to maps that Malga's not as good on. So
yeah,
I had hope, but yeah, it was a bit of a like, oh shit moment when Malga got pulled out. Mirrored.
I think we'll come back to that a bit later on here.
Sure.
The people who are listening to the podcast and the show, they might have heard a bit of a screenshot noise there because I had to take a screenshot of this so I can bring it up and show it to everybody else. But
his production goes crazy.
Holy, all the bells and whistles are coming out.
God damn.
Yeah. But we had a comment here on the YouTube live stream, which I thought was a meme at first, but then I actually saw this person subscribe to the YouTube channel, which tells me they weren't subscribed before, obviously. And so they might be real here. Let me know if you can read this message here.
Okay.
This is my first time ever watching Plat Chat. This Jaws guy seems like he might be a furry.
That's a pretty good observation.
Okay.
Any rebuttal?
What's your name on Twitch? What's your name on Twitch? This is someone from my fucking
They
chat.
just subscribed to the YouTube channel.
They just
so.
subscribed.
Can you be
Well, I
honest?
mean, but
okay.
Jaws is like a shark, and furries
They don't have fur, right?
Yeah,
Is
are
it
sharks
scale-
considered
Well,
furries?
I've had this.
Or...
Okay, it's kind of messed up, but I've had this discussion on my stream. Not because
What's
I'm a
messed up
furry,
about it?
but
Not surprised.
What's
Not
messed up
surprised.
about it?
no, there's nothing messed up. But I'm saying it's messed up
Oh,
that
no,
we're
what you
having
just
this
said it was.
conversation.
Oh,
no, I'm
okay.
saying it's messed up because we're having a conversation. Yeah, he's trying to get me. He's trying to get
He
me.
hates the furry community. He hates them.
Are they scalies? Because sharks have scales, kind of, but not really.
Do they have scales?
I don't know.
I thought they were just kind of like a big leather bag, and inside.
You're the shark guy. You don't know if they have scales.
Well, the thing is, it's not like a scale. It's like they're like serrated plates kind of thing, right? And is that
They're
a
not like
scale?
kind of
Does
leathery?
that count? I
Like-
am not
like-
in the furry community. I do not know. I'm not
If
aware.
you touch
Why
a
are you
shark,
bringing
will
this up?
it feel
Johnny,
like
why are you bringing
metal?
this up? Why are we bringing this up, Johnny? We're in the middle of discussing the fucking tournament thing, and the furry question
It's
pops up.
important. It's
Why
important. It's
should I
important.
not bring it up? Why
You
should
know
I not
why?
bring it up?
You know why? You know why? Because he's trying to get you back for the Wheel of Death. That's right.
That's true.
Now it's even. Now it's even.
We are
buddy.
interacting with our community.
Yes, okay, that's okay. Good interaction. Good bit.
This
Good bit.
person just subscribed. I'm welcoming them to the show, and
I
you know,
appreciate
making
it.
them,
I
making
appreciate,
them
How do I-
appreciate the sub. I'm not a furry. I'm sorry.
scaly.
Sorry to
We-
disappoint. I'm a scale. No,
We've
I'm not.
announced
You
he's
can
a
go ahead and
scaly.
unsubscribe now.
I'm
You can go ahead and
scaly.
unsubscribe now.
I'm
Unfortunately, we don't have the furry community with us. So yeah, I know you're hoping for representation in your media, but we're just unfortunately none of us.
I
are
have Googled
furries.
it.
We
Yes,
don't even
sharks have scales, but they're unique tooth-like structures called
Yes.
placoid scales or dermal denticles. These scales are
Yeah,
not like the
it's like
scales found on bony
plates.
fish. They're
So, I
small,
mean, so they would be a
triangular,
scale.
made of the same material as shark teeth. What? Their scales are made of the same material as shark teeth. They wear their teeth on their skin.
Yeah,
So
sharks
they're
are
scalies.
fucking awesome,
they're
bro.
scalies,
So yeah,
essentially.
I guess technically there would be.
Is there a
scalies.
separate furry term? Furries in the chat. Is there a separate furry term for sharks and fish, things that live in the ocean, or is it all
See,
just
that's what
kind
I'm
of scaly?
saying. Surely there is.
I don't know. What do we call them? We would call them. What would we call them?
Fishies?
Fishies.
Like
what?
that
That's a
just,
good
but that
question.
wouldn't make sense. That wouldn't make sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, honestly. Scaly seems like it makes the most sense by far.
Great.
So
You learn something new every day. I don't have
Let's
any
go
good
back.
way to show this
Back
bracket.
to the bracket, everybody.
Go back to the back.
I don't
So,
have any
yeah,
good
that's
way
the
to show
bracket.
this. So I'm going to do this. And we'll remove Jaws. Here's our first couple of predictions.
Nice. Nice.
This is the me and Avast show now.
Good
Look
looking
at-
podcast.
We
Good
had,
looking
I
like this
podcast.
podcast.
We
I
had
like
Team
it.
Falcons beating Al Qadsiah. Once again, beat us Virtus Pro, Nightmare beating CC, and Chris Raccoon beating Spacestation. There's no surprises there. Al Qadsiah got a map, of course. We had Falcons beating once again, 3-2. So,
Which we were right. Okay, yeah.
right. Crazy Raccoon beating Nightmare, which I think
Wow, how
everyone got
wrong? How wrong you guys,
How
huh?
wrong we were.
Look at
How
you!
wrong we
Look
were.
at you, dumb MFers getting that wrong. Wow.
Yeah. And then you
Point-
can't
wow,
see it
look at
here,
that.
but we had Crazy Raccoon beating Falcons 3-2 in the upper bracket.
Okay,
Um,
honestly,
so-
so this is pretty good.
Yeah.
If Avril was here, he would have fought against the once again lost.
I would have.
too.
You know what? I would have said Nightmare 3-0. It's gonna be easy day,
No,
guys.
he wouldn't have.
There's just no way Crazy
No.
Raccoon. No, you're right. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would have.
But
argued
you
for once
would you
again
have
beating
said once
Falcons.
would you have said once again being Falcons? Yeah, exactly.
I would have
so
argued for that,
Avril
yeah.
being
I would've.
dead on that episode actually saved our bracket. Saved our bracket
You know,
here. a bit.
No. Mew AJing saved your bracket.
They
Be
were
real
one
right now. Be
AJ away
100%
from
for
winning.
real.
No, I think Avril being gone saved our bracket. Actually, I think
Okay.
that's what
All
we'll
right.
do.
Okay.
All right. Well, Nightmare was the big upset. Moving to the lower bracket, we had Virtus Pro beating Al Qadsiah, and Space Station beating CC. Then we had Nightmare beating Virtus Pro. Or sorry, Virtus
Nope,
Pro
you
beating
can't say
Nightmare.
anything.
Sorry, Virtus Pro beating Nightmare. So you know, if we had known that Crazy Raccoon were here, we obviously would have had Crazy Raccoon beating Virtus Pro there. So, and then we have Space Station beating once again, actually. And this was the big controversial one while we were doing the episode, because we essentially said, like, how brave do we want to be predicting once again over SSG? I said it was the big pivotal match.
I was for, once again, that entire time. Rewind the VOD. I said, me, the brave lone warrior, the once again soldier, the foot soldier.
The
for once
lone
again.
wolf.
The
lone
lone
wolf,
wolf.
maybe?
I was
For
predicting
reconfirm.
once again over Space. I was predicting once again over Space Station. I was predicting. I was there, dressed up, fursuit, not in a fursuit. This is a joke. It's gone too far. 3-1 is a joke, Pred, like a comically joke, Pred.
Okay, well,
Okay,
to
but
be
here's the
fair,
question,
going into
though.
the event,
Did
we
they
had no
did
idea.
they make it to lower bracket grand finals though?
We had no idea how good they'd be.
I don't know, man. I thought they
I'm
were going to be
pissed.
really good. I
The
personally thought they were
litmus
going to be really
test
good.
went- yeah, the litmus test would have went crazy.
The lip miss test.
Litmus test
The
on
litmus
Crazy
test.
Raccoon. The lip.
Because I at least didn't feel comfortable going all in once again, because there was definitely a scenario where maybe they showed up and they wouldn't have looked as good because like lack of practice and all that, and like they were in peak form and stuff like that.
I'll be real. If
Okay.
you guys are willing to put OA as going to map 5 against Falcons, they're good enough to beat at Space Station.
Exactly.
That is, that sounds logical.
That's a really good point. However,
great
at the end of
point.
the day, they still lost in round 3, so we're arguing over a single round of difference. So like, like we're taking a big stand over what essentially ended
Where
the same.
did? Can we look at the original bracket, Johnny, or is this like a technical
What do you mean?
wizardry that you cannot?
I got a good
normal
question
bracket.
after this.
yeah, the normal bracket. Yeah, I can show the
Yeah, the like
Wikipedia bracket.
the real bracket, the real bracket.
Yeah. Of course.
Because
I'm a
I want to
producer.
see
I'm on top of
round
this.
2 and 3. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So realistically, the Nightmare Pred kind of rolled us. Obviously, it rolled everybody, and then the once again Pred. So really, we were only a couple of rounds off. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
I'll perfectly happy to say as well that I thought SSG would show up and Sugar Free and Seeker would like have an amazing tournament, and you have Cal on the Winston, but they clearly like didn't show up to the level that I expected them to on that dive. Like they could look good against Team CC, obviously, because Team CC, but I expected it to be another level there in Space Station's dive comps. I definitely think I would have seen them as very competitive against.
I think
them.
it
You
just
guys-
they underperformed. Just straight up.
Do you guys feel like maybe, I mean, there's only 8 teams, so it's hard to make this conversation happen, but like Virtus Pro and SSG both kind of just kind of got unlucky because they lost to who? Space Station got Crazy Raccoon,
Yeah.
and then they beat Team CC, but then they got once again. You could argue that Crazy Raccoon and once again are potentially the 2 best dive teams in the tournament. And because I would have been curious if Crazy Raccoon were not in the lower bracket and they got to fight Falcons again, how that would have looked. Because you could have
Right.
flipped the coin in that game. That 3-2 once again game, Falcons away, you could have flipped the coin on that one. and there was still a lot of Malga, I believe, coming through from Falcons. So I wasn't convinced that Falcons were like that good on dive even, because they weren't even playing that much dive compared to like Crazy Raccoon. And once again, obviously, and I felt like we were in an actual dive meta. Falcons were the Malga forcing team, and they did make it work.
They
more than
lost
you'd
with the
expect.
Malga in their head-to-head.
That's crazy.
once
Actually,
again as
That's
well.
actually true. Goose Ray won that Malga mirror.
Yeah,
that's true.
on Suravasa, yeah.
Wait, you mean Runasapi? Runasapi was the Malga mirror.
Oh, so Runasapi, sorry. Wait,
Which
no, what
was
did they play on
insane.
Suravasa?
They played Malga as well, but I'm pretty sure once again did not play Malga. Am I going crazy?
Yeah, Goose Ray must have been on Winston then.
I feel like
Yeah,
Goose Ray was, like,
regardless,
they were probably.
they
I'm
won.
pretty sure
They
were
won in
supposed
the
to win
head-to-head. They won in the head-to-head.
I was like,
oh,
I chalked Runasapi up to be a loss. I was just like, oh, they're matching the Malga. I mean, what can they do? Tough map.
Yeah.
But then they actually won Runasapi, and I was like, holy. Like, because that was like legitimately insane to me that once again beat Falcons in Malga mirror. Like, that is insane to me. The fact that
Yeah, I mean, they
able
were
to
the
do
best Malga team in the world. I mean, they won last year in the Malga mirror. Like,
Yeah.
everybody was like, what the fuck? Like, Falcons should not lose in Malga mirror, ever.
So this should prove, right, that Elway are not a dive one trick team, and that
Oh,
that
you're right. It was
Goose Ray is
Mapper.
and Goose Ray is absolutely not like a Winston Doom 2 tricks. I think by now everyone has to like, you know, be extremely honest with themselves and admit that Goose Ray can play a lot of different heroes outside of dive heroes. If you can beat Falcons at an Amalgamer,
Yeah,
like come,
100%.
that's a really impressive thing to do. So
Have people been saying that though? Like, I feel like
I
everybody's
saw
been
it.
pretty generous.
I was
to
still
Goose
seeing
Ray for a long
comments.
time.
I was still seeing comments that were very like underestimating a Goose Ray.
He's like a
Still,
two-trick kind of thing.
they're like,
right.
yeah, this guy is like, yeah, he plays Winston, but you know, he'll lose playing like anything that's not Winston or Doom. And it's like I've still seeing those comments. I feel like those comments should be like gone completely now. Like anyone
Yeah.
still making comments like that just hasn't seen these games.
Am I?
Dude, they put out a little bit of Hazard too, and it looked good. Although it's kind of the
Yeah.
same style, right? As Winston,
Yeah,
not
it's kinda
quite
like a dive
but it's
style.
still like a dive style. Yeah, his Hazard look good too.
Am I misremembering? Was Gushue on the 2019 Hangzhou Spark team that got 4th in GOATs? Who was the tank for Hangzhou Spark in 2019?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, 3rd.
Yeah,
got
they did get fourth. Yeah,
Did
yeah.
he, did he play Ryan for this team? He did, right?
I don't know if he.
Goosh.
Or Rhea?
Didn't
No
they have-
Smite?
no, they had-
Rhea
that's what they had
and
Rhea
Sassy,
and-
no smite.
Was it no Smite?
But I don't know.
Yeah.
But Rhea was playing. Rhea
was
played
playing
mostly
Diva, right?
though, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
No
Played
Smite was a
Diva.
Ryan player for a while too.
Yeah,
Was
so
it
I'm pretty
Gushue
sure
or
they
No
were
Smite?
playing. I don't know if they were playing with Gushue. I think they played.
Yeah,
with
well,
a
because
decent amount of
Sassim
them.
was on that team. Sassim was the Zarya player, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll fully admit that I was one of those players who I was at least like Gushue's best heroes or the dive heroes. Like the Winston, the Doomfist, you know, really a couple of years ago we saw like, oh my god, Gushue's Doomfist is also really good. So I would have said that is Gushue's signature heroes. I wouldn't have said Gushue is bad on other heroes, but I would have been like, oh, like Gushue is definitely most comfortable on dive. But now, as you said, Avril, you can't possibly say that. Like in any brawl, except, you know, most reasonably, most brawl heroes, Gushue was great, yeah. Someone
I
did
just
say
checked
that
the-
Gushue played Ryan.
I checked the VOD. It's Rhea, Diva, Goose Ray, Ryan. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah,
that is
okay,
just
wow.
another accolade in like Gushue's, you know, hero
Yeah,
pool
yeah.
argument as well.
So
Like,
yeah, he
Gushue
got
played Ryan
fourth
there,
place
so-
Overwatch League playing Ryan.
In
Yeah.
Goats, yeah, in Goats, man, which
Yeah.
Damn.
insane. Because
There it
I mean,
is.
that's San Francisco Shock, Vancouver Titans, Hydro Spark, and I can't remember who got 3rd. It's probably New York Excelsior, but I can't remember. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, Gushue.
That was 6 years ago, bro. Holy.
It was
fuck.
New
it was,
York.
yeah.
It was New York.
Yeah. So yeah, amazing that once again won in the Maga mirror there. Anything else here? We kind of touched on a little bit of everything, and I think
gotta-
we'll run by each team. So I wanted to start the grand final and move down, but anything else?
I think we definitely need to get deeper into the Nightmare conversation because
Yeah.
that's probably a big one. And I would probably like to get at least somewhat deep onto VP as well because they were probably the Western team that everyone had the highest hopes for. So
Yeah.
I think those two teams we should dive into pretty deep if we
Okay.
can.
I think we'll start with the grand finals, and then we'll move to the Nightmare Crazy Raccoon matchup and talk more about Nightmare as the 3rd place team, and then we'll trickle down to the teams further down the bracket there. But I think usually when we do these recap episodes, we start with the grand finals, and obviously it was Crazy Raccoon against Team Falcons, and then we'll touch on the drama as well. For people who are like, "Oh, the drama." We'll touch on the drama. Don't worry, we'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, Team Falcons, they were the upper bracket team, so they started obviously at the advantage in the loser pick. It definitely felt like at the start of the series, it was Team Falcons series. They looked good, they looked dominant. And obviously Crazy Raccoon needed to find a map win somewhere to get loser pick advantage back. And they did so on Esperanza. I believe it was Esperanza, yeah. And then they closed out the series 4-2 here. So where do you want to really start here? Like AVRL, when you watch this series, like what were your first kind of takeaways as this series progressed and what you saw?
Oh man, like
I'll go to map 1 to maybe give you a bit of a refresher, because
sure, I kind of didn't fully believe in the Malga. Not because I don't think Falcons are good at Malga. Maybe it shook me a little bit that OA actually beat them in Malga, but more importantly, I just didn't believe we were in a real Malga meta. I still believe that Dive was going to be the best composition. I think overall that was still proven to be true. But Crazy Raccoon still leaned into a bunch of Malga. Actually, at one stage, I can't remember what map it was, but Jumbin stayed Malga and Hanbin actually swapped off the Malga, which I thought was super interesting. Like, whoa. Falcons are swapping away from the Malga instead of Crazy Raccoon. So even at some stage, Falcons themselves kind of lost faith in that composition, which if you look at that, knowing the Falcons' identity, that's a huge red flag for like where they are in the series if they start losing faith in their comp.
Here it was, yeah. John been playing Malga and Hanbin switched.
But actually, I remember this is what thinking like, hang on, because they won this map. Remember, Hanbin switches off Malga, but then he goes D.Va. He wins this map, and then I remember map 2. I believe he didn't play D.Va. I can't remember what he played, but I'm pretty sure I remember on the coach room I saw one of us like, dude, he just won on D.Va. I think this guy should play D.Va for Survaster as well. And I just remember he didn't. And I thought that was super strange.
Did they Hun Binston on Survasta, perhaps?
I think they Hun Binstoned a little bit.
They might have Hun Binstoned.
Yeah, I think they did so too, yeah.
Can't we just speed up in the VOD?
Yep. I'm working on it.
Yeah,
I'm working on it.
Binston.
I'll get there. There we are. Hun Binston.
Yeah, it was Hun Binstoning.
I'm pretty sure, I mean, it's been about a week now, but I'm pretty sure the Hun Binston was not working for them. Not that anyone should expect that it
started off
right.
hot, but later on in the map, it fell off.
Yeah, they got crushed late. They got crushed very late. It wasn't bad in the beginning, like you said, Johnny, but definitely was not very good towards the end of Survasa.
Proper started off this map so hot as well. I remember like Falcons got like insane first picks on a couple on Chorong, I believe here. And Proper just started off this map so good.
He was the best player on his team. He was the best player on his team for this final.
Always
I remember
has been,
Connor and I, he swaps with Stalker in different matches, like in terms of who's like the real super giga carrying. And obviously when they're both giga carrying, their team is just unstoppable. But I remember in the coach stream that Avast and I did, like we were both saying like if Falcons win the finals, Proper's getting finals MVP. Because like his performance in this finals is unbelievable. He was keeping Falcons in the game.
He was really
hard.
Good.
Yeah.
Some of the most deserved proper glaze from AVRL ever. Some of the most deserved proper glaze from AVRL.
You better believe in the Falcons OA game when two of my sons are on stage at the same time, I'm like, fuck, who do I go for between Leave and Proper? Leave and Proper. It's, you know, it's like, it's a tough battle, man. I'm like,
that of the year.
Trying to be fair. Anyway. Yeah. So then what do they do map 3? Because I think the first 3 maps are obviously like more competitive.
I'm pretty sure they started to
slide down
after this. I want to say
Runasapi is definitely a Malga map. Runasapi is definitely a Malga map.
Malga. Yes, yeah, they're definitely playing the Malga for. But I think they play it for the last map too, right? Because don't they play like, what is the last map, like Esperanza or something?
Last map was Circuit.
Yeah.
Or Circuit, yeah. And they played...
that was the Zarya one.
No,
that was the like dice roll fucking map.
Yeah.
But it was like Rhine, Zarya, like they played everything. Bro.
I remember after this map, Lip was just like giga pounding on this map, if I recall correctly. And Team Falcons win this map, and I'm like, Lip is doing literally everything he can. It was like a typical Lip versus Falcons moment, where Lip is just like racking up the final blows and the kills, and you're like, oh my god, they just can't beat Falcons, and Lip is doing literally everything he can. And then I started to like be a little scared for Crazy Raccoon. I was just like, okay, Falcons are comfortable. They're winning their own map picks. And Crazy Raccoon need to find a way back into this series. So after this map, there was a halftime, and we go back to the desk. And I just remember being on that desk and doing like, this is going to be so hard for Crazy Raccoon to win this series. But obviously right after they started pounding again. But Lip had so many amazing moments on this map.
I thought it was quite slow in the first 2 maps, because I remember that it was like both the Crazy Raccoon DPSs were a little off in the first two maps, which was like more surprising given that Connor and I both. I'm speaking a lot on your behalf today. I'm sorry. Connor and I.
I mean, no, that's fine. I mean, you're separate.
Given this guy was asleep the whole time, he's just like, I could say anything about it. He was like, yeah, probably. I was asleep.
No. I mean, I'm relatively cogent. Honestly, I'm surprised. I remember the hero picks for some of these maps.
I was gonna say you'll agree with this one. I was gonna say that like we both thought that he sang for the two matches before was hard popping off and probably should have gotten play of the match. But then in this game, in the finals, he sang was like a lot more quiet, right? I remember he was pretty quiet in this game compared to the last two games he played. Which
we
definitely
spent the whole we spent like almost the entirety of the tournament, like the whole time we were both pogging out of our gourds, being like, he's saying like, where's his player of the match? Like, holy fuck, this guy was pounding. And then we get to the finals and it was turned into the lip show. It turned into the lipness test.
Which is what I said last week as well. I was just like, if Crazy Raccoon want to win the grand finals against Falcons, like Heesang needs to pop off in that series and be great. Obviously they won anyway. But I feel like Heesang.
Yeah, I didn't even pop off in this series. Really. Like he was good, but like compared to the stuff in the tournament, like earlier in the tournament, like Heesang was like honestly,
Heesang was
far better,
destroying.
Yeah,
like,
early
he was
the tournament
carrying
was
you through the early stages.
But every time you get to these matchups, it's Proper and Lip, or just like trading blow for blow, and Stalker also having amazing performances. Like rarely.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather have that, bro. Like Proper versus Lip at this point is like two titans like staring at each other. Dwayne the Rock Johnson and Vin Diesel in Fast and the Furious 6. Like just
I do not Fast and Furious post during the podcast, man. It's so slop. We need better comparison.
It's good slop. It's good slop. That's a good comparison. Vin Diesel and Dwayne the Rock Johnson fist fighting, in a garage. Like it's.
Jules likes two things. He likes sharks and cars. Okay. His favorite movie would be Cars and Sharks.
If we didn't know any better, you would be a meathead at the gym, 350 pounds on anabolic steroids, and you'd be driving Hummer. You'd be like, "Fuck yeah, dude! I love fucking sharks and cars. Yeah!" Like your interests align exactly with the most obnoxious people you might know.
Big shark tattoo on the back.
Oh, that'd be wicked. Can you imagine?
Oh god, he'd have like the tribal tats with the big shark tattoo on his back.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. It was so sick.
Man. He'd be like, "Yeah, this is like my warrior name. I'm like, this is my warrior name." Right?
They call me Big Shark.
Name. Big Shark. So we kind of talked about it earlier about how good Proper was in this series, but I'll actually ask this now. So, Shu was the tournament MVP, crowned the tournament MVP, and obviously we had votes as the broadcast talent. I think they polled.
You voted? Dude, I didn't vote.
Well,
Average American
well, I
under
think
the age of 25.
they polled.
Yeah.
I don't know how they polled. It was not like an official form this time, but we got asked just like, hey, who would you vote? And so we vote tournament MVP. It's not grand finals MVP, but it's tournament MVP, like who played the best the entire weekend. And most of us, I think we landed Shu if Crazy Raccoon won for like, the tournament MVP, because Shu was just
Who would
like,
you have
insane.
voted for, Jack? Who would you have gone for?
I was gonna go for Lip, but Shu was having a heater. But...
Yeah, especially against that once again, and like Shu was just destroying it.
Question.
But also, if Falcons would have won, I remember we voted for Proper. I had a follow up on this, Avril, but did you want to ask a question first?
Oh, I was gonna say, if it's tournament MVP, does that mean you can vote for someone that's not the winner of the tournament?
In theory, yes.
But
You'd have to have a really justified MVP if the team's not.
Yeah,
I mean, if someone comes second, if it's a tournament MVP and they came second, but they were like just the most insanely good player, or you would say
have been a candidate?
What would you have said?
I don't hate the Shu. I think Lip and Shu are both fine, but like if this was an intense 7 mapper and Falcons only lose to an AJ, then maybe it would have been more fair to give it to Proper if he was hard carrying the whole time.
Sure.
But
I think that's pretty reasonable.
But I say that under the context of I think Shu and Lip are both fine choices given the way the finals eventually went and how hard Crazy Raccoon then started winning in the last 3 maps compared to the first 3, and how good Shu and Lip were over the course of the tournament, minus the Nightmare game where honestly everyone on Raccoon looked pretty bad, including Shu.
I think realistically, if you'd crown a tournament MVP that was not from the winning team, you'd have to because if a lot of people vote on this thing, you'd have to basically make that, in lack of a better term, acceptable, because you'd have to put it in everyone's mind who are voting to just hey, I know this team just won, but like keep in mind that you can vote for a not winning team, because I think everyone by default go towards the winning team or the second place team. It would make it very hard to gather the votes to make that happen.
It makes more sense to do a finalist team at the very least.
I assumed it was finals MVP because every Overwatch finals is a finals MVP. We've never done a tournament MVP, right?
No, finals for Stockholm was tournament MVP. Stockholm won tournament MVP in Stockholm.
Okay.
At least that's what it's on Wikipedia. I'm pretty sure. I'm 90% sure that's the case, but fact check me if I'm wrong. But what I wanted to get to, those would have been our tournament MVPs. Proper Falcons won and Shu obviously won because Crazy Raccoons won. But isolating the grand finals, who do you think was the grand finals MVP if you had just voted for the grand finals?
Probably Lip or Proper. Honestly,
it would have been Lip or Proper for sure. Honestly, if they had a better grand finals performance, I would have said for the tournament MVP. By the way, I don't know. Honestly, if his performance is better, I would have been Heesang for the tournament MVP. But unfortunately, he didn't have that good of a grand finals performance, so it just didn't qualify over Shu.
I actually remember us talking about this, Connor, and it was really hard to nail down one Crazy Raccoon player that will stand out in the finals. I actually felt.
But I think if Heesang had a good finals, what I'm saying though, AVRL, I feel like he would have been tournament MVP for me if his finals was good.
Yeah, because the last two games he played were dominant.
Games.
Yeah, his VP game and OA game was ridiculously good, like outstandingly good. Whereas in this finals, none of the Crazy Raccoon members were outstanding, which is not to say poorly of them. It just means that they all had equal contribution, and no one player was like giga carrying the team, right? And so it was like kind of hard to choose one player. I think we both landed on Lip. I remember when we talked about, we both kind of landed on Lip for the finals if we had to choose. But he was like maybe like 5% better than the next guy instead of being like 30 or 40% better than the next guy, you know?
Yeah. It was very interesting how like everyone played a really good game. This was peak Overwatch. This was peak Overwatch after all. So Crazy Raccoon, they win their own map pick here on Route 66, and we head over to Esperanza as our fifth map here. And I guess this is where it was a long break here. How long was the actual break? I'll see if I can nail it down. So the map ended at like 6:50.
A little while, yeah.
6:50, and the next map started. So a 30-minute break. 30-minute break.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about this now?
Yeah,
I mean,
this is the time. This is the time.
This is the time.
What happened during the break, guys? What happened during the break? I do wonder.
It took a lot of time figuring out, but basically what it distilled down. Should I just quote the Reddit post? The Reddit post is quite informative, right, Daryl? So
it goes through the actual like translation of what Falcon said and what Lip said.
Yeah.
Which is like.
So I'll bring this up. I don't know if you can read it. Is the text too small?
It's fine. Just read it. You just read it out. It's all good.
Okay. Discussion regarding penalties during grand final. So Falcons were faced with an unfair situation during the match due to two issues related to the referee's decision, and here's our statement. Number one, CR delaying hero bans. Regulation-wise, CR had to select their bans 10 minutes after the lower bracket finals. However, they strongly objected against it, claiming that the players were not ready. The referee violating the rules accepted and delaying the brad pauses. Thus, Falcons were made to wait for over 10 minutes without any clear justification. So after Crazy Raccoon, they qualify for the grand finals. All the players get a bit of a break to like reset and get the time. That's why we do like the Jaws funny silly segment on the desk. Like we're buying time for the match because the players need a break. So CR was like, hey, we need a break. We'll get back to you about the hero bans. Admin goes like, okay, we'll do the hero bans closer to the series starting. Number two, decision on Team Falcons penalty regarding exceeding hero ban selection times. After map 4, Falcons were given a 5-minute break. Or like all the players were given a 5-minute break. And the referee did not announce the start of the ban phase for the next map. So we naturally waited, believing that the ban phase would start after the break. The referee arrived 50 seconds late, and after the break ended, and we immediately submitted our bans. But due to strong protest from CR, we received a penalty. The penalty would be random map and random side.
Which they ended up getting their map they wanted anyways.
For exceeding the time limit by just 2 seconds. So that is the hilarious thing. So we're getting told this in the information is coming as it goes because it's a very like long it's hard to get the information from everything going on with admins, teams, whatever. But we're in the green room and we hear that it's gonna be random map selection, and for like 2 minutes there we sit in the green room and we're just like, oh my god, imagine if Falcons randomly pick or they don't pick but randomly get selected New Queen Street or like Ilios because it could be freaking anything. Like that would be an insane kind of like series of events. But they get Esperanza, which allegedly was the map that they wanted to play anyway, and so they just RNG into the map that they wanted, and there's no side selection on Esperanza, so it doesn't really matter. Should I just continue, or you guys have anything?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll continue. So 3, double standards in applying penalties. Despite the same breach of rules, the referee allowed CR to continue without penalty, while our appeals were denied. We find it deeply unfortunate that decisions were made with a clear standard, as different decisions were made solely depending on whether the team protested or not. Number 4, why we are making this statement. Falcons were planning to let this matter go without officially raising an issue. However, Chris Raccoon's lip posted that Falcons were the reason for the match delay on a fan Discord, distorting the truth. This sparked unfair misinformation and slander towards our team, unfortunately requiring us to make this statement. All the players in the team wish to compete under fair rules. We strongly hope that no further misinformation is spread about the situation, and that the referees make consistent rulings and apply rules equally to everyone going forward. So, Lip's original Discord message. People keep bringing up the pause in the middle. This is Lip, by the way. Falcons broke the time rule during the ban pick phase, so there was a delay because we were protesting. And then 5 hours later, Lip writes, ultimately, the problem was with the Champions Clash. I apologize for posting unverified information without hearing Falcons' side of things. So that was the drama. That's why we waited 30 minutes to get this resolved.
I'm glad that they got the random map, because otherwise there could have been a case where the entire finals would have been like, yeah, well, they lost because the admin ruling and this happened, they got the wrong map, and that kind of fucked the finals. That would have hung a really negative shadow over the finals. So I'm glad that like we kind of resolved it just by them RNGing the map they were going to play, and then they lost it fairly, and then there's no excuses after that. So we got, obviously the drama came out with the explanation of what actually happened behind the scenes, but to the viewer just watching the game just progressed as normal, and like nothing weird happened. So I think that's like the good news, the silver lining out of this.
Yeah, if they didn't get their random map pick and it was like just something fucked that caused a weird, like, oh, we're fucking screwed now because we didn't want to ever play this map against them, that would have been strange. This whole thing was very confusing. Like, we were hearing minute by minute like updates, like, oh, this is happening kind of thing, because obviously it's communicated in China through to us, so it like is delayed for us too. It was weird. It was very strange. I don't know how to feel about it, I'm going to be honest. I mean, it feels like the admin kind of fucked up a little bit by giving them a break they weren't supposed to, crazy raccoons, and saying it wasn't unfair. Like, I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest.
I mean, it feels like just making excuses, but when I'm presented with this quote-unquote drama, I'm like, it's so hard for me to have an opinion and a take on this. Because like, I wasn't there, bro. I wasn't on stage.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't on stage and actually like took part. Like, I have to rely on like translated tweets about from each individual team who have biases, and it's also not something that can like, it's not like something in the rules, you know. We can have opinion on the rule book if there's something wrong in the rule book. This is not the case. Like, this was just apparently like judgment from the admins about the different scenarios that presented themselves, and then the teams disagreed with the admins about how they made decisions. Like, there's no room for me to have an opinion on this and just be like, oh, this is fucked up. Like
how about this?
I wasn't there, bro. I wasn't there.
How do you guys feel about CR pushing for the rule book? Because
I freaking love it. I love it.
Because there's a line that says, due to strong protests from CR, we received a penalty for apparently exceeding time limit by 2 seconds. Like, I think from the Florida Mayhem Gumba school of winning is winning.
The Dicko mode school.
Oh, sorry, the Dicko mode school of the Dicko mode school of
Gumba, it's the Dicko mode.
Of fuck it, we ball. We're gonna rule book the hell out of anyone. I kind of respect it, but on the other hand, it's like, bro, it's like 2 seconds. See how that desperate they wanted to rule book Falcons like that? It's kind of like,
I respect it. I would have done it.
Well, okay. So here's the problem. In my opinion, the problem with the rule booking is that you can't have it both ways. Well, you can if you're a bitch, but you can't. Like, you can't have
so
it.
True,
like, you
bro.
can't have it both ways. Like, they delayed the pick phase after their break, which, by the way, I actually think is perfectly fine. I think being like, hey, can we get a little bit of extra break because we're tired coming out of like the lower bracket, like we want to wait a second, and the admin being like, that's cool, that's chill. Like, I actually think that's a very reasonable human thing, even to be like, hey, give you a little bit extra time. okay, cool. We didn't rule, like, because theoretically Falcons could have raised a bunch of fucking stink about that, right? And just been like, oh,
And they would have
we're
been in the
gonna,
right
like,
to.
Sure, but they didn't. And then Crazy Raccoons then rulebook your ass for a much smaller amount of time. I'm like, okay, that's kind of bitch made. Like, that's a little bitch made, honestly. Like, I think if you're going to break the rules in one direction, you're not allowed to break the rule to then go rulebook someone else, in my opinion. I think that's extremely bitch made, personally. Like, the difference about Dicko Mode never tried to do it both ways, okay? Dicko Mode followed the rules, or he just broke the rules, okay? And he didn't. Like, there's like, so you can't have it both ways there, in my opinion. So I kind of do think that Crazy Raccoon, like, this is straight like punk behavior. Like, I think that's kind of stupid as fuck.
Straight punk behavior.
It's like, at the end of the day, it worked out a bit it miraculously worked out for Falcons, but I do think that, like, it is pretty shitty for Crazy Raccoon to be like, oh, we're gonna like bend the rules here, but then also we're gonna rulebook the fuck out of you. Like, that's like kind of fucked up to me, because like, especially because this was an accident from Falcons. Like, they weren't even trying, they didn't even intentionally try at a delay. Like, they literally, from their perspective, it seems like the admin just wasn't clear in communicating what was going on. Now, obviously, did Crazy Raccoons know the admin showed up like late? I don't know. Do we need to draw and quarter the admin in the square potentially? Like, do we need to take him to Seoul? And like, I'm not quite sure, but like, all I'm saying is that, like, from the holistic perspective of what is portrayed, it seems like Crazy Raccoon is 100%, in my eyes, they're not necessarily in the wrong, but they are bitches. So, like, you know, that's just my opinion on the matter.
You know what? If the guy from the illegal maneuver team says it, I believe it. I'm down with that.
To be fair, I was not involved in that decision, but or that play, but yeah, it's I do think that, like,
Albert got his when he got rule booked back.
Yeah, he did. Exactly. He got his, and he couldn't complain. He literally was like, "Yeah, they got my ass." Like, you know, like, they weren't gonna contest that, because like he's like, "Yeah, they got my ass." Like, they did. Like, so that's the difference. Is like, I think if you're gonna rule book, you should be expected to get rule booked back, and if you don't get rule booked back and you just like do it, like, I mean, like, you know, try to win the game, sure, it's like you're trying to win, but also, you know, like, you can look like a bitch. So like, you just kind of look like a bitch.
I think I disagree a little bit with you. But
what is there to disagree about? They literally rulebooked them after not getting rulebooked.
Okay, that's not Crazy Raccoon's problem. That's
it is their problem, because they're a bitch.
It's Falcons' problem.
Bitches.
It's Falcons' problem for not complaining about Crazy Raccoon taking a break. Well, actually, they did say they strongly objected against it, I suppose. So, I mean, if CR was like, hey, we want a break, and the admin cleared it, and Falcons were like, what the fuck, we want to do it now according to how it was determined, like, that is like, okay, then maybe you could have sorted out that better. But I just feel like, okay, I feel like this was like Falcons now learning, like, okay, this is how we're playing. This is how we're gonna play the game. And now from now on, Falcons will very much be...
I can explain this. This is Avast appealing to sportsmanship and ethics, and this is Johnny appealing to, no, we're just gonna win.
This is so Scandinavian of Johnny too. You know, people. You know, it's obviously different countries, but you know, in Finland.
How is it Scandinavian with me to like clamor down the rules?
Because listen,
This is now.
So we're gonna start with the Finland. We're gonna start. This is gonna target Finland, not Sweden first. So to be fair, which is technically not Scandinavia, but it's in the same kind of, you know, sphere. You know, in Finland, when they have kids over when they have the kids over, they're playing at their house and shit like that. Like, you know, in America and probably elsewhere in the world, they're like, oh, like, little Johnny, you're here playing with Tommy, like, come eat dinner with us. We're about to sit down and eat dinner. In Finland, they're like, no, little Johnny, you're gonna fucking sit in the other room while we eat dinner. Okay, that's what makes it Scandinavian. You've essentially just ruled, like, Crazy Raccoons are gonna go eat maybe some animal crackers in the room outside, and we're gonna have like the roast poultry and the potatoes and shit like in the main room, because like what it is, it's bitch made behavior.
What?
Like, when someone says like, well, now you learn,
they wanted to
when
get
you
an
say,
advantage.
now you learn, little bro, you think Falcons didn't know about playing fucking competitive Overwatch? You think they didn't know about this? Like, they were just trying to be nice. They were just trying, and also they got kind of rolled a little bit. Like, when them being like, oh, they've learned now. What do you mean learn now? All these guys have been playing the game for like fucking 6 years.
Well, because
like,
I don't think Falcons realized that Crazy Raccoon would do such a thing, but now they know. They know what Crazy Raccoon are about.
That's not it. So so I don't understand. Is your answer like, it's fine to fuck someone over because now you know? like, I guess I'm trying to figure out, like, what is your argument here is that that's
my
just, your
argument
argument is like, it's tough, bucko?
My argument is that the Falcons are going to be harder on the rules and not as lenient. But then again, it also said that they objected to the break in the first place. So I just feel like both teams from now on will follow the rules more strictly because of this incident.
But the thing is, the problem is, too,
the
that
admins
it
didn't
cuts
follow
both
the rules.
ways. No,
the
that one
admins
also,
as
let's
well.
not even talk about the admins. Sure, should the admins maybe be drawn and quartered in the square? Like, whatever. But, like, the point being is that also, like, on top of that, like, I like it when teams, like, Crazy Raccoon also would have been fucked over, like, because they're like, hey, we're tired. We need a little extra break. Let's have a couple extra minutes, right?
Okay, well,
Isn't
how
it nice
freaking
to
hard is it
exist
to
in a-
pull out the coach and be like, yo, 1 minute, let's do it right now?
But isn't it a nice world to live in where my teams can, like, compete in the game of Overwatch and not, like, treat it like it's the fucking gladiators in the Coliseum? Like, can't they just, like, be a little nice? Like, why do we have to, like, we're gonna
Okay.
play
Sportsmanship.
cutthroat
But
games
that's how the
over
world
this?
Games
works.
of
If you
sportsmanship.
make rules, people will climb
What
down the
you're
rules.
the world works argument? The world's worked in a lot of fucked up ways, Johnny. We shouldn't always use that as the argument for everything. Like, I'm just simply saying, it should be nice. We should be a bit nicer.
Avast is saying it'd be nice if we weren't kicking sand in people's faces during the fist fight. You know?
Yeah,
I get we're having
like-
a fight, but let's not throw sand into people's
Yeah, I
faces
mean,
during
come
the
on,
fight.
man.
Okay, is the timer 60 seconds or 65 seconds? They had 55 seconds to, like, vocally be like, yep, this is the ban we're making. And they took 62. What are we gonna do? Increase the duration and then suddenly we're gonna wait for
They
the
said the
players?
referee arrived 50 seconds late, though.
Bro, and yeah,
Okay,
they said the
that is
referee
the- that
alive.
is
They could
why,
have done
yes.
it earlier.
Yes.
They could have done it earlier if the ref was there. They didn't know. The
Look.
ref didn't communicate. Additionally, also, if I get rule booked over 2 seconds, I'm going Joker mode. I'm planting pipe bombs in your house. I'm planting pipe bombs in your car.
2
I'm
seconds
going
is
full
pretty crazy.
Joker mode if you're a rule booking me over 2 seconds. Legitimately, that's fucking crazy. That's crazy behavior. You're telling me you give Crazy Raccoon a break for however many extra minutes and you could rule book me over
Okay,
2
but it's a slippery
seconds?
slope. It's a slippery slope. Okay, so you accept 62
It's not a
seconds.
slippery slope. We're evolved. We have brains that work. It's not. We can literally just make the call. Like 2 seconds is not that big of a deal. Nor is the couple minutes there because we're like, oh, that's fine. Like we're chill like that. Like the problem is that we weren't chill like that. One team wasn't chill like that, and it was fucking one team here, only one.
I mean, 2 seconds is pretty crazy. That's like
It is
stopwatch
crazy. It is
shit.
extreme.
Like if you're
It is
sat there
extreme.
with the stopwatch and like,
I feel
Like
like
if you
really
ever rule book me over
extreme.
2 seconds, Johnny, over anything, I'm putting pipe bombs in your home. I'm exploding your domicile. I'm exploding your car. There will be no mercy. That's fucking
How does this guy
insanity.
know how to make bombs? Where did you learn that from?
Jarvis,
It's
send it to
that's
the FBI.
Send it to the FBI, Jarvis. Jarvis, report this man to the FBI.
Look,
Dude,
I recognize I'm on the unpopular
Paris
side
Eternal
here,
better
but
watch out. Paris Eternal are glad they don't exist today, man. They'd be feeling some wrath. That's all I'm saying.
I too wish we would be chill and just play video games, but I also feel like, you know, like if these are the rules and Crazy Raccoon complain, like, you know, what are you fucking gonna do? Okay, they're not chill. So yeah, I guess maybe they are bitch made. Maybe I'm over to your side now, but yeah, maybe they should have been more chill. I just feel like the rules are there. They crossed the rules. They complained. Like whatever.
I think the universe balanced itself out because Falcons got the map they wanted, and then Crazy Raccoon beat them on the map anyway. So the universe balanced itself out, and we got to the intended destination of the timeline that we were supposed to be in.
all don't lie moment to bring back Albert into this conversation because he likes basketball, I suppose. Yeah. So I don't know. I obviously, like I said, we weren't there. We have no idea how it unfolded, but it clearly seems like from all three sides that this was not handled the best way. And moving forward, I have no doubt that they're going to ensure that it does get handled the right way to avoid this situation again. Because getting a random map pick in the finals, Falcons got away with it now, but that would have I could have arguably put a damper on the series if they just RNG'd into a map that really favored Raccoon.
It would have been a questionable final, and people would have said forever, like, hey, what would have happened if the 2-second rulebook didn't happen, you know? Because it now looks like CI kind of like... I actually think the best result happened where, again, the RNG worked in Falcons' favor, because if it didn't, I think the fans would have a pretty negative outlook on Crazy Raccoon, because I agree with Connor here. If it went Crazy Raccoon's way and the map also went their way in terms of the RNG not favoring Falcons, there would have been a lot of questions out there of this being a potential Mickey Mouse final because of RNG rule booking.
It would have been a hashtag stop the steal. Hashtag, at that point, Falcons fans would have been allowed to January 6th the arena. They're not allowed to storm it,
my
and like
God.
100%.
All right,
like,
you need to
like,
chill out
maybe-
here. You need to relax.
It's just crazy.
You need to relax.
It's a crazy amount of rulebook in
You
there. I
need to
mean, just
relax.
in minuscule seconds. It's like they're doing with just in mere seconds there.
Okay, so we go to Esperanza, and ironically,
that's crazy.
Chris Raccoon, they win the map anyway. But maybe they would have had a better chance. We were
Stop the
actually,
count, dude. Oh,
we were actually kind of surprised a little bit that Falcons wanted to go to Esperanza, and I thought maybe it was because they wanted to block New Queen Street if Chris Raccoon got a map pick again. But we were surprised they didn't pick like Lijiang Tower to block Helios, but maybe they don't want to play.
oh,
See
I
how
said
Lijiang
that
anyway.
too. Yeah, I was saying that in the coach room too. It was like, I think they should go Lijiang because I think it's a good Malga map. I think all three
Their
of the
favorite
points on
control
Lijiang
center.
are good for.
Yeah.
But not only that, I think both Night Market and Garden are pretty good for Malga too. Super playable.
Yeah.
Lijiang would have been a good map. You would have blocked
I think-
Helios too. I think that would have been good.
So
a
they
good call.
played Lijiang in the Asia finals, right? And didn't CR win 2-1? Didn't Falcons win Control Center and Chris Raccoon the other two?
I'll have a look real quick.
So maybe
I
they
can't
were
remember.
a little scared of that map pick. But I don't know. I felt like
No, they won. No, they won 2-1 Lijiang in the Asia final.
Yeah, so we were like, then I will go back to the point
But
that
they also
maybe
won
they should-
Esperanza in the Asia final. So there is that.
Well, there you go. I was just really scared of Ilios because if they had won this map, then I feel like Chris Raccoon would have obviously gone to like Ilios.
Probably, yeah. I think you have to play
And
the
then you go
mind.
map 7.
I think you have to play the strategic game of blocking your opponent's picks as well, which to me means that Lijiang should be the better choice, given that to be the case.
Yeah, obviously they know they have their strat, they have their scrim results, they know way better. But I was surprised we went to Esperanza. So Chris
But they
Raccoon,
lost hard, man. Their Esperanza result was like what 68-96 to 125. That's a rough loss. That's not a good close score at all.
yeah, let me check. I mean, obviously you're looking at the results here, but yeah, Chris Raccoon looked great here. Farah has some good moments on Esperanza this
Dude,
tournament.
Farah
I
is
can
so
tell.
sick now as a hero. Like, it's crazy what happens when she gets like these small little perks, man. It
Yeah.
is, it's wild. I
You
feel
know
like
what
they
I-
were playing.
having
What
in
were the
this meta-
bans, right?
A Farah
this-
is, you need a Farah player on your team now at this point.
So, two things here. One, Brig is banned, which removes the Brig Juno combo from Malga, which is the ideal
Yeah.
support setup. That's already a negative for running Malga here. Number two, I think on this particular map and this kind of matchup, Lip dominated here, partially because you can just farm infinite rails off the Malga. Proper can't do that on his own Soj. And it is necessary to point out as well that Proper and Stalker have kind of swapped here, because usually Stalker would play the Soj here. Stalker is now the designated Soj player for the team. And I think Proper would just play the Far. I think Proper plays Far on other maps, does he? Fairly certain. But they
Dude,
swapped here.
Hasn't it been like an age since? Wait, when did Proper play Farah last?
Didn't
Like,
they play?
seriously.
Didn't Proper play Farah on Lijiang in that very?
Yeah, I think
On
he does.
Lijiang
On
and then Stalker was on Tracer, right?
no, Stalker's on Soj, isn't he?
On Lijiang?
I mean, they both play. They can both play all the heroes, but I just felt like Falcons had decided recently that Stalker was going to be the dedicated Soj player. But
It's just weird. Yeah, sure. I mean, it's just weird because this team just suffers from a chronic of like, who the fuck is playing what the fuck? It's just like,
I mean, that's an
It's-
advantage and a disadvantage, right? Because it means you're hyper flexible. You can play both.
I get, yeah, it's kind of an advantage, but like, surely at some point they're gonna have to be like, okay, so if we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. You know, like it just feels every single tournament that we play, it feels like Stalker and Proper are switching roles, switching heroes.
Is there any hero that Stalker could have potentially swapped to? Because I don't think you swap away from the Soj here.
I mean,
there's-
the only other thing is like, wait, Stalker himself like swapping away?
yeah, like if you wanted to swap away from the Farah, but like
Tracer's
Tracer was
another
banned
thing.
here.
Wasn't
Tracer
Tracer?
was
Is
banned
Tracer?
here.
What,
Tracer
Tracer's
gets kinda
banned, right?
Tracer was banned on
Dom.
this map.
Oh, Tracer was banned on this map.
Oh,
This is what was
There
banned.
you
That's what
go.
I'm asking. What was banned on this map when like I'm trying to remember besides Tracer, what else was banned?
Brig.
Tracer,
Brig.
Brig.
Tracer Brig. So I mean, you look at this and like because realistically, it's pretty hard. Like you said, you don't have the Malga comp. You don't want to play like Ana because Jumbin will eat your ass. Like it's gonna be pretty tough. So Farah makes a lot of sense here because there's not really a lot of picks. Like unless they wanted to try to play. Like,
Oh, this kill was funny as fuck.
they could theoretically. The only thing I could think of was like if they wanted to either play like. If they want to potentially play either like a Genji or a Cass comp, but I feel like Genji's like not very good it's like not amazing into the Pharah. Like maybe you're just hoping you kill the Sojourner.
Yeah,
like,
no.
the
I mean,
backline.
Soj Farah was already a popular damage line.
Yeah.
On the maps and
the problem is like, are you really
So-
gonna play like you can't play Cass?
I was just thinking if
like
that
Soj.
plays into how they position Proper and Stalker. But,
So
you know.
so I think them playing the different heroes and swapping is not the important thing. The important thing is that if you're on a Soj and Farah mirror, it's much better for Crazy Crew matchup wise because Lip can farm rails way easier on the Malga, and
Yeah.
the Farah specifically is insanely good at just basically one-shotting the Malga with a barrage. So
Yeah.
both the Farah and the Soj perform better against the Malga than the opposite way around against the Winston.
And
You
the
also have
cage
a
is
bubble.
just so much harder to get off as well. So you're
Yeah.
like just unless you're playing Stadium and you have that per item that is like you get boosted stats when you have ult, like bro is just sitting there, man. Like didn't they there's the cage jacks as well on this map, right? Where, like,
Versus,
Jimbin
oh
just-
wait,
No,
Goose-
that-
it was
Oh,
Goose
that
Straight-
was
Goose Straight
versus
jumped out.
away. Oh, you're
Yeah,
right. You're
Goose
right.
Straight jumped out of it.
amazing
Yeah.
ult,
That was on this exact point. Yeah, that was incredible. Yeah, it's just I just hate the Malga. Like it's just a Malga mirror, sure, but like I just hated the Malga in this this setup here. It just feels so shit, man.
Stuff. All right.
Yeah, and you're not gonna play Ana if you're Falcons either, because like that just doesn't. That's not what you play with the Malga. So
Yeah.
Lucio Kiriko becomes the default after Brig gets banned, unless you want to just force the Juno with something. But no, the teams landed on Lucio Kiriko, which is whatever. But that's just better for the dive because like you think about Lucio Kiriko, that makes way more sense for a Winston than a Malga comp. So Falcons got cooked on the bans here, and they got cooked in the matchup because the Soj are just way better into the Malga.
Same said that jumped out of it too. Shout out to Same in the YouTube chat. So I'll take the.
That's just tragic for Harbin then for getting jumped out of his cage twice.
There's a cage.
by two different
they
Winstons.
got one, but probably had two
He
cages.
got his ass, yeah.
All right, we head over to one of the most entertaining circuit reals of all time.
Dude.
Max comes in. They start out. They play these brawly Lucio BAP compositions. We've barely seen any BAP at all.
This
Except
had the biggest
for
throw of the
on
series.
circuits.
This
Can I
literally
comment?
lost Falcons the series.
You can
right
say
here.
whatever you want.
I got a comment that I felt that it was strange that Harbin didn't want to go for the Sigma mirror. He opted for the Diva to start with. So the reason why we got to Zarya is because we just did the Plat strat, the gold strat of like Zarya, we're gonna counter Diva, we're gonna counter Zarya, and then both players were like, okay, I guess we're gonna have the Zarya mirror now. But I kind of felt like maybe if Harbin just Sigma mirrored Max, I want to kind of know what the answer to that question would look like. Is it the fact that Falcons know that they are not as good on the Sigma? Is Harbin still shaken from losing to Vistola 2 years ago? Do you like what's going on here? Harbin just doesn't play Sigma anymore. What's going on?
It's kind of funny because I think this map especially, it's been warped so much with the small changes that they've done on first. Because you can wrap now. If you're on offense, you can wrap via left, like the mega, and then go all the way up and around to avoid like everything, and then just drop near to the high ground. So like I think because teams were already, they were obviously VP as a team that's like only going to play Sigma on this map, but like teams were already kind of like trying to push as much as they could towards like a faster comp. And like these small changes of just, I guess on Team Falcon side, they were like, we can just play the Diva. We can just play like more of a rush here, or like a dive, and we'll be fine. But it still feels like Sigma's better. So I guess they just weren't as confident and were like, well, the changes make it better to play the Diva here because we can just loop and we don't have to just take infinite spam damage from high ground as we like go around the first corner. That's what I'd assume anyway. And just how like this map has evolved over like 2 iterations.
Yeah, it's interesting because you it's hard. Like who do you actually like wall here? If you're Heesang, like who do you wall here? It's good for like bolstering the front line, but you
wall in like what, Stalker, I guess. Like, but he has slide. Like you go.
I mean, you can wait for. You
just wait for dive. You just wait for a dive to come in.
Yeah.
You hit a defensive wall, and then you just like all you do is just
But didn't even Max
walk around it and play around it.
Like there's so much poker. Like there's a Sojourn spam, there's Diva spam. Like I think it's hard for Crazy Raccoon to play this comp here. So I actually don't mind the Diva comp as much. This Flux from Max. Yeah, I saw this Flux from Max and I was like,
that,
oh,
dude,
fuck.
that looked
I
like a
felt so
hit
bad.
too. Dude, that
Was
looked like
this
a hit.
was this the map where Falcons chased past the wall? Am I thinking of the right map here? Remember, they were on last point. They windowed, and they chased past the window.
Oh,
Admiral,
on the
was this
corner,
this?
on the corner.
On the corner?
I can't
Yes.
remember if it was this series or not. It
Was it
might
this
have been.
series?
It might have been this series.
Well, because
Possibly,
this is where Falcons lost, right? Falcons lost here.
Yeah, they lost this. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they had the biggest throw, like arguably the biggest throw of the tournament in this series. If it in this map, if it was
Oh,
this
because
map.
they chased into the window.
Because they windowed on the corner, like they drop a window, they have one pick, and then this is on their defense, the Falcons defense specifically. So Falcons get their cap
I remember
here,
now. Yep.
and they get the window on last, and so they get some picks against Crazy Raccoon, and this is like I think they had maybe like a minute remaining or something and so they pop the window on the corner of last point, and they chase around the corner.
It'll be here. Shu has window. So Shu pops window on the corner, and I remember the angle was really bad, and it was oh yeah. So here
They were chasing
so
Max.
the bob,
They were
the bob.
chasing Max.
The
for
bob.
this. Yeah.
So the bob comes through. Raccoon fall back. They basically window only the bob, but the window doesn't look at the point at all. And then for some reason, Falcons decide to chase into the window.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is the big.
Here we
This
go.
actually
It's now.
lost
Right
Falcons.
now, right now,
This
right now,
actually
right now.
lost Falcons.
Here
Yeah,
we go.
they're there. They're chasing lip. You see, this is Jake. And then all they do is like, okay, we just leave. We should leave. We shouldn't even.
Yeah.
We don't even
Just
peek.
hide round
And then they
corner.
beat.
They
They beat from a
into
million
it.
light years away
Yeah.
and chase. Actual hard throw. And then Max is gonna get like grabbed for this post fight. They lose picks. Like literally, this actually lost Falcons the series. This loss in the series, it was like one of the worst calls of all time. This was a Chio disaster class.
Yeah.
I don't think Chio had like a particularly
It's-
great I don't think he had a particularly great like finals, and this might have been his worst play of the whole tournament.
I'm impressed. Avast forgot 99% of the weekend, but this one,
Well,
this
because I was
specific moment got his
so
ass.
angry. I was
Yeah,
so
this
angry.
specific moment was
Real
highlight.
because
shit.
like
I remember as
Falcons,
well.
Real
Falcons
shit.
could have won this series. They could have won this series. They could have held there on last, but they actually had like a literal Chio disaster class there with that play.
It was bad. It was pretty bad.
Mayhem
I remember
spotted.
that. I remember
Mayhem
watching
jersey
it.
spot.
Wait, was there actually? Go back.
Yeah,
There
there
were
was.
5
There
seconds?
was the Mayhem jersey.
Go
There was a
back,
Mayhem
go
jersey
back.
in the crowd. They're
Bro
clapping
went back
it up.
2
They're
years
clapping
instead
it
of
up.
going back
No,
5 seconds.
This is right now. Wait for the crowd pan. Here we go. Waiting. He did go back very far. We're seeing fucking everybody. There is. There is. Mayhem jersey.
Nice. W.
Yeah. I only just thought it was because it activated endurance, and also because I see there's
17.
like
Who is 17?
1738. I say what's up, hello.
Okay, shut up.
Oh my god, you saying a four-digit number just reminded me of your tweet about Farway, but we'll get to that later, I guess.
Oh, the Farway 2025. Farway 2025.
Is there like a Calling All Heroes match tonight? Because also I saw something where like tonight there's a match going on and it's between these two teams. I gotta put it in the Discord, Johnny. Is there like Calling All? This is the wrong thing. I was about to put it. Sorry, I was about to put it in my Energy Hate Watch Discord. 1 second. This is.
Can we wrap up the grand finals first? So,
Yeah, but you gotta look at this.
Okay, I'll look at it later. Yeah, so
Look at the match going on tonight.
OT, Falcons still playing the Diva.
That's so-
Against Sorrow.
Okay.
Okay, can
that's
you
very
guys
funny.
can we just
Sorry,
wrap up the
sorry.
Yeah, okay,
One
what was that?
more time away.
And look,
One
I
more
gave
time
you
away.
mine. I gave you my crucial bit of analysis. Now you can make do. You
Okay.
can make do.
Well,
with that,
we're about
okay?
to lock in and watch Hanbin play
Oh,
Reinhardt.
real quick. Hanbin should have not have started Diva for this defense. In the time bank, you already know that the attacking team has the advantage of swapping. As soon as they scout your Diva, they're gonna go Zarya. So why would you start Diva? Like, it's such a bad call from Hanbin, in my opinion. Because you
It feels
instantly
like
get
maybe
counted.
he starts Sig. Like, that feels way better.
Well, what if you just start Zarya? Is Max gonna go Rhine? Do you know what I mean? Like, is Max really gonna go Rhine? I think starting Zarya is way safer for Hanbin here. Going Diva, you just get counterpicked straight away. It just doesn't look like a good call to me.
Yeah,
But they did get counterpicked. So,
Oh, yeah.
it's tough.
you know,
It's tough.
speaking of Floor Mayhem, someone will be proud. The counterpicking was real this game, you know? Someone's out there smiling like, yeah, that's me. I'm the H key warrior.
Yeah, they're really brawling. I mean, they got Bap, Brig, May. Like they
Oh,
are.
that
Oh,
Blizzard was
this play
tragic.
was sick,
that,
bro.
That Blizzard, by the way, got nothing. The
Yeah.
Stalker's
Yeah.
Blizzard went into
Yeah.
Narnia. It was
Yeah.
bad.
There were a lot of like they actually. This felt so winnable because they popped Rally and Blizzard and they almost had Blade. Like, look at this yeet. This absolute yeet
a
from
yeet.
Stalker.
Okay,
Bro.
he was trying.
Look at
He was trying to Blizzard the window. I get it, but like,
And Shio
I don't
misses
know,
the
like-
shield bash. If Shio hit that shield bash and Isang,
And then they also split. And then, yeah, I think Stalker's Blizzard, it looks like he threw it too far as well. Like, it probably hit the wall. Because you can yeet Snowball, right? And I feel like he should have done that way closer to, like, the little signs. And then maybe it, like, pops off. But
it's a really difficult...
Oh, man. It was rough.
So I look at both of those fights, the one Avast pointed out and that one, and I'm like, oh, like you could have played both of these fights better and given yourself a higher chance of winning.
I think they potentially just would have held on last if they did not chase, because they got the window out of that fight. Like, even if you lose one, you have the beat for the grab. Like, I think they potentially could have just won, like, the map there. So everything that happened after this, like, obviously, like, Falcons misplayed, but this entire time I was malding. And then also this blade happens, and this is a really tragic blade. Yeah, it gets literally nothing too. I remember this blade happening. And then they get to keep pushing.
Swingy in the air and people are dancing around him too,
it's just so brutal. Like, it was a really good split too. From, like, I think Crazy Raccoon, they're really good. Like, they've always been pretty good about, like, the splits here. And just, like, making sure that, like, okay, we're saving Bubble. Like, we're going to have, like, our cooldowns up so he gets no value. But, like, it's just, all this is essentially just downstream of just that fucking play on last.
Credit the Falcons, though, for holding that with very minimal resources, and they survived the grab and etc.
It really did feel like a micro boom after they lost that first.
It's
like halfway through that first point.
I'll just add in as well. That very unique energy when you're watching an OT attack like that. And the OT bar is just going, but the attackers are winning, and you're like, oh my god, how far are they gonna go? Oh my god, please don't fuck this up defense. Oh my god, it's just like very unique viewing experience to just see like how far can this OT attack go. And every time the defense fumbles, you're like, oh no, oh overtime spawns, oh no.
Well, I think in these situations, I think if the attacking team, especially on the time that they have, actually cap A, it's kind of over, because for the other team to match that, it's super hard. Capping A at all with this limited amount of time is exceptionally difficult to do.
And Circuit was historically like a really tough map in this tournament. Like, a lot of teams held on first or second. And like, especially like you got Perks as well, because the defenders do such a good job of just like I don't know what I'm saying.
So
okay,
I don't
know.
I'm pretty sure.
I lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was trying to say.
I think Hanbin swaps off the Rhine here. Am I wrong? I think he goes Rhine and then he goes off the Rhine. And I actually felt like if he stayed the Rhine, it might have been a better look.
I think he played Rhine in the middle, and then he goes. Doesn't he go like Soy or something? I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, he plays Rhine here for a little bit, and I mean, I guess they just felt like they couldn't match this, so. They couldn't mirror Crazy Raccoon, so it was credit to Crazy Raccoon.
Wait, does he go Rhine or not? He's actually not swapping.
Bringing this strat out in OT.
I don't remember.
I think we saw this strat once the entire tournament, and they brought it out here in OT. That's credit to Crazy Raccoon. It's a really tough comp to like think about mid OT in the grand finals. Like, how do we deal with this?
They didn't cap A, right? I think Falcons loses without capping A, if memory serves correct.
I mean, look, the execution is so shit here with the Rhine. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think they win one fight on the Rhine, no?
I think they do, actually. I think they do.
They're doing one Spacestation special with this.
Well, this is the fight they're winning.
Yeah, they got the
this is the fight where they split. They split them, and they just, like, then they're going to take the next fight, and they lose.
Yeah, so it's looking good. It's looking good. And then, when did they swap off the Rhine?
I'm pretty sure, but I think what happens here is that don't they lose a pick early in this next fight, and so then it's just, like, cooked from the beginning? I'm almost certain they lose someone early to, like, pick, like, maybe it's like Stalker.
Oh, the
like
Farah swap is brutal too from his line.
Yeah, Farah swap's pretty good at this, but I'm pretty sure what happens is someone dies early, and then they're just like, "Oh shit, like we're cooked." Like, I can't remember who it is though, but
I
think they just lose to the lip wall. I think the lip wall just beats them.
Yeah, it's just because the
it's the boop. No, it's the boop. That's what fucked them. The boop because they could have disengaged there off the wall, even though the wall was good because they had 30 seconds, but then they just got booped by Heesang, and the silent goat does it again.
Did the Blizzard do nothing here as well? I think Stalker's Blizzard just like went to Nani again, maybe.
I mean, again, who do you Blizzard? Like, you max after they use kinetic grasp, I guess.
Well, ideally, you're Blizzard doing like max and lip when they try to get ingress on you here.
When lip like pushes...
You don't want to eat them, though.
Where the fuck
because, realistically, if you play this comp, like, you need to TP on someone, right? You need to TP on someone.
I'm pretty sure Stalker drops the Blizzard defensively here to try to save. Yeah, that's what it's all false pieces there, yeah.
Yeah, he Blizzard. Did he jaxed it, yeah.
Oh, he jaxed it! Holy! I didn't even see that live. Holy fuck, that's a critical.
Look at this.
Dude, Majax in the final
Yeah.
fight of
But
the
the thing
grand
is,
final.
they wouldn't have had they wouldn't have had the
'Cause if-
Majax even if they had Majax, even if they had not Majax, it was still bad because they should have just wanted to leave. They just wanted to leave the fight with 30 seconds, but they got booped. It was the boop that fucked them. Look at the
Oh,
boop.
that's
Oh, it was
a
not
big
even.
boop.
It was Chorong. It was Chorong. I thought it was
Chorong,
decent.
yeah.
It was a Chorong.
And then
boop,
he
yeah.
tries to put it at his feet.
Oh,
like,
he
it just doesn't
Majaxed after the
work.
boop. Holy
But the thing is,
shit.
even if he had it Majax, it would have been bad. It would have been bad still.
It wouldn't have been
a
good because
wizard.
they would have
were
just
too
stood
split.
behind the fucking wall and they
Yeah.
were too split. Yeah.
It
The
was bad no
lamp-
matter what.
The lamp is like half a second late. Look at this. So Stalker
Like
dies,
literally everything
and
that could have
here's the
gone
lamp.
wrong
Yeah.
went wrong.
So Stalker
Everything that
just
could have gone
dies and
wrong
there's the
went
lamp.
wrong, but
And
it's down to the
Shio
boop there.
And Shio couldn't have beat it because Hamba's on the wrong side of the wall now as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they did.
Wow,
But the thing is,
dude,
once again,
wow.
it's the boop. The Chorong boop literally
The
fucked them so
Chorong,
hard.
Chorong actually won
Was it
the
a Heesang
map.
Holy.
Was it a
2023.
No, it's a
Al,
Chorong. See,
Al,
slides
Al
No,
on
yeah,
Chorong.
we just
Championship
watched
winner,
it. It was
Chorong?
Chorong,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
It was
Look at that
Chorong.
guy. Look at that
But
Florida Mayhem alumni.
that's realistic because if they had left, Crazy Raccoon doesn't get any value from the wall really, other than time burnt, and they get to come back in here without having to worry about the wall. So they just didn't get to
Right.
leave because of the boop.
Plat Chat. We get into the details. folks.
we forget the entire map and then we get into details when we watch it back on 0.25. Let's go,
Yep.
dudes.
Like
We're about
Plat
the
Chat.
micro.
We just VOD review now.
Bring out the pens. Bring out the epic pen. Oh god. Well, there you have it. Chris Raccoon. They win. Third out of 4 major OWCS events. Esports World Cup was not a OWCS event, but they win Dallas. They win Esports World Cup. They win this Champions Clash, and Falcons.
I
They
mean,
win.
they're just better.
Yeah, the World Finals. So
They have what, like a 65% win rate against Falcons or something?
yeah, I think it's 13-8 now. I
Yeah.
counted 13-8, but that's me combining Chris Raccoon and Whack before they were picked up by
Right,
Chris
right.
Raccoon. So depending if you count the Whack matches or not, obviously, but I count. The
You
Whack
should.
matches, so.
It's the same team, so
Yeah.
yeah, I think it counts.
So I think it's 13-8 now in favor of Chris Raccoon. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, it's such a delight to just watch this grand final over and over again because you know it's peak Overwatch. Like it literally cannot get better than this. You're watching the 2 best teams that are just giga stacked and they're just duking it out. Like it can't get any better.
I also respect that Max got to play and he won his map and
was
it was the
nice,
final
yeah.
map because I
Dude, it
think
feels
that's
like
like a it's
Every
a big
time he
moment for
comes in,
Max.
it feels like he loses. Like,
Yeah, got his moment.
Every time he comes in.
he was winning in Asia a little bit in the Korea finals and stuff, but like before that
but on
he
the
almost
international stage, he comes in and he just loses his map and then walks away. So it's like an actual redemption for him on the stage to win the actual final map.
last year
kinda
last year he actually barely got subbed in as well. Last year I think most people even forgot he was on the team.
His
I'm pretty
Hazard
sure
looked tough against Nightmare 2 on King's Row. The Hazard looked
Yeah.
not good at all. And so, like, not him individually, but like synchronized with the team. Like, he would leap in and then get
Right.
punished for it, and they'd turn on him and stuff. So,
At what point?
Yeah.
You got to rewind like 10. Maybe he is fine. At what point can we criticize that trophy a little bit?
Now,
what do you have to say? What do you have to say? What are you
It
it
gonna
just
say?
looks like.
It
Do
looks
you think
like
it's
plastic.
fine?
It looks
doesn't
like
look very
plastic.
good.
I'm gonna
It
be
doesn't look
honest.
very
Like, I didn't really inspect it. I think I was too tired to like really.
No,
think
I
about
mean
the
we were
trophy.
just looking. It looked like the thing is the arena. All the production looks so good. The trophy. If you take a close look at the trophy, it looks like it's 3D printed.
Go to the first lift when they initially lift it and the zoom in is there. Like
I
this,
mean,
is
just-
fine. This is good as well. 'cause you
Well, no,
can
but
see it. Like,
but the problem is the light is honestly giving it too much credit here. In this lighting, it's giving it a little too much credit because it's all yellow light, so it's making it look more gold than it is. It's way less gold than this.
I think it looks too yellow. I think it looks like just looks like plastic. Literally looks like plastic. I'm sure it actually is metal because you can see the inside of the bowl looking thing. It looks like steel or something.
Yeah, the center
like-
of it is definitely steel.
I
yeah,
think
or
if they
something
just
like, that,
I think if they just painted the yellow rimming as gold as possible, it
It
would have
shouldn't
looked
be
fine.
so yellow. Yeah, it's just too
And
yellow.
if the
Too yellow.
gem didn't look like it came from like the thrift store, you know, the gem needs to look like more like a
That's
gem
where they
and
put
not.
the admin soul.
I like the design, but yeah, maybe the
Design is
materials could be
fine.
better.
Because the thing is, when you look at the 3D model of it, and you like, if you rewind like 5 seconds, you see the 3D model on the side of the arena. That 3D model, the rendering they did, looks really nice. But then the actual print of the trophy, it looks like it came out of a 3D printer like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
before
it
the
looks a little
event.
bit cheaper than the other. Also, Shoes bowl is looking clean, and that still. Do you see that? Do you see how clean that bowl
Look at
is?
Chorong on the left there.
That's true. Chorong's always had a pretty clean bowl. It's pretty tough the way his bowl is. That's a good point. It's also pretty.
But as we discussed, Ultraviolet actually had one of the cleanest bowls of all time.
UV bowl did go crazy. I will say UV bowl did go crazy, but I do think that like this is the only blemish on the production, which is honestly a minor. Who cares? Like whatever. It's like.
Look at the 3D rendering on the side. The 3D
render looks
nice.
Yeah, it looks a lot better. It looks a lot more golden. A lot more golden.
Oh, you mean the graphic?
Side,
Yeah, on the top of it.
Yeah, the graphic. Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a video game trophy, like something you'd get in like a video game.
Oh,
I think
dude,
it just
they
needs to
should
look
make
more
a souvenir of the game. They should make a souvenir in the game that you can like lift up from the emote. No, I think that would be
Free
pretty sick.
idea. Free idea.
I've always wanted. I'm not sure they'd ever do it because it's literally for like 5 players, but Valorant does it where they have the titles in the game.
Yeah, that
for
would be
the
cool.
winners. So like it'll be like Masters, like Bangkok Masters winner, like, and it would be Champions Clash winner for the players. So it would only be for Shu.
That sounds like it
etc.
takes 30 minutes to put in the game. So yeah, why not? Or less.
I mean, it's
Never
probably
know.
not, but I mean, it would be really sick if that to happen. But yeah, I would a little trophy, a little souvenir thing would be kind of sick, or even better, a weapon charm, because I don't think many people use souvenir.
Yeah, both souvenir or weapon charm, spray.
both of them.
Put all of them in there.
Well, I mean, also they could just do like the don't when the I guess wait, souvenir. That's the name for the nameplates, right?
No, souvenir is
No.
the thing that they hold up in their hands. It's
No,
like
no,
an
that's what I'm
emote.
talking about. No, I thought you were talking about the nameplates because that's what they do as well. If you win the event.
No,
in
that's what I'm
Valorant,
saying.
you-
They should do
That's
that
the
as well.
titles. Those are
Oh,
the titles.
okay.
Titles,
Okay,
yeah.
the titles. Yeah. I thought you were talking about like getting something else. Okay, yeah. They should definitely do the
No.
titles. The
The
titles.
title
would be
thing
sick.
would be sick. Obviously, Valorant, the game, is way more integrated in terms of esports than Overwatch is, but I think, yeah,
Hey,
something small
Titles
like
are
that
easy to
would
do.
be-
I think a title would be like super easy to put in the game. Like it's
You-
just a
yeah.
line, it's just like a sentence in the game.
Yeah.
It shouldn't take any effort to put in.
Am I wrong about this? If you ignore the Overwatch League store, the integration for Champions Clash is the most game integration.
No,
We've
no,
ever had.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying like
It's a more casual
Valorant
game.
is built to be an esport.
Yeah,
you know
Valorant
what
is
I
more an
mean?
esport
Like,
game.
yeah,
Or more
it's
casual.
more of an esport game. We have our esports and it's great and the game's beautiful, but like Valorant is like esports.
Yeah, I mean, there's no downside to adding like
Focus.
a
I think,
6
yeah.
title cards to the total.
A
of the
title
game.
for like just the play along Crazy Raccoon and the coaches and stuff, I think would be
Yeah.
fucking wicked.
It's a
I
fun.
think
It's a fun little
just-
thing.
I really love, and I understand why they don't do this much anymore because of stupid people that fuck things up. But immortalizing players or teams or whatever within a game after big events, I think is cool. Because obviously we had that with Overwatch League with the skins like Doomfist and etc. So and like Gladiator's got a Mercy skin and Rain's got a Mercy skin, like that kind of stuff. I really like that, and I would love for that to kind of make a reappearance within the game.
Didn't they say Crazy Raccoon was getting a reskin of the Ember Juno?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. Yeah,
so
it's a
black and red
recolor
Lamborghini, yeah.
of the. Yeah, shit. Okay, my bad. Yeah, my bad. I retract the statement. Yeah, they are getting a recolor, which is really sick. I love that stuff.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't honor players anymore because the Overwatch community averages 1 cancelled player a year. So
Yeah, that is a bit of a problem. That is.
can't really-
But
a
to
bit
be
of an
fair, I
issue.
don't think
Don't really
it's
go to
a
the anymore.
it's not nearly as much of like a putting individual player names like for like the nameplates, right? That's like there's no.
You're
name
giving them a
attached to that.
title.
Yeah, the title. The
Yeah.
title
The
is a
title.
title. There's
Yeah,
no
the
there's no
title.
It just
individual
says
player
it just
names
says major
attached.
winner. It just says
Yeah, exactly.
OWCS major
Because
winner. right?
even
You're
like
not-
it's
you're
like,
not-
and theoretically, if that player were to be canceled, still it doesn't change the fact they won the event. But we didn't put
Yeah.
their name in the.
You could also do a
game
generic
still.
title like that as well. OWCS major winner.
yeah, that's all you have
yeah.
to do.
Yeah, rather than like I would personally like it like Champions Clash winner or whatever, but you could do like a more generic one as a major title.
Also,
winner, yeah.
can you take a look at the games that are going on tonight, Johnny? That I put in the
Oh,
Discord
yeah,
group
bring
just
that
to
up,
show
bring
this
that up.
as a recap. There's some of the bigger
Okay.
matches about to happen tonight.
Also, to be fair, they are doing the team skinny stuff as well, right? So we'll have to wait.
When
and
is
see how
that coming? We're still waiting. This is taking a while.
I
Yeah.
don't-
Also, where is the team skins? Hasn't that shit been? They've been talking about that forever.
it's coming this year.
Literally, I thought
I
it was,
don't.
dude. It isn't the year. The year's like a
We've already had first
done.
major.
Dude,
This
HRT
is
Shock versus
crazy. This is-
the Florida they them. Let's go.
That is such a good team name.
Holy
It is
bro.
funny. It is funny, I will
banger.
admit.
Holy
That is a
banger. Come onto the
Banger team
timeline.
name.
That's gonna go crazy. Who you guys got winning this one? I think I have my money on the Florida they them.
Florida they
personally.
thems, yeah.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
no bias from Avast. It's all
No
good.
bias. No bias.
good.
No bias.
I love that they use the font as well, the Florida font. I think that's sick.
Listen, the Florida they
Good for
them.
them.
I got no bias, otherwise known as NB. Okay, I got no. I got no
Oh, you
bias.
guys
NB.
know
Oh, his writings this fire. His writings this fire.
Oh boy. I got
Next team.
So I got-
Next
I
team
got-
that we're talking about. Let's
I
move
got
on to the next
HRT
team.
in that one. I got the HRT. All right. Well, I guess this is time then. If we wanted to discuss, I was gonna say discuss Nightmare, but you know what? I'm not gonna bring up their 03.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the fact that they dropped all their contracts and they're not renewing. The team's being dropped. So
What?
That
I think they're just looking
you guys don't know that?
just
I saw
dropped,
that.
yeah.
Oh
I saw
yeah,
that.
that just happened. I guess. Yeah. So essentially, it's
6
been announced
hours
that
ago.
the entire team is becoming free agents starting the 30th because Nightmare's not re-signing them.
Hey, Toronto Defiant. Something really cool could happen right now. You could pick up fucking Nightmare. Just saying.
I have a
saying.
feeling Adam Adamu is.
I know
not
you
jumping
guys
in
were
the
taking a
water
break.
right
I know
away.
you guys were taking a break. But look, they
Just for
beat
one event.
Raccoon.
Don't a lot of teams come in for just EWC then dip out?
Yes, but Toronto Defiant works a little. Their organization works slightly different than a lot of other orgs. But like, yeah, there's a lot of different teams that are possible. Like people have rumored that like NRG could come back. People are rumored like for the.
You know what
Shots,
should
like,
happen?
something- There's a couple different
I
options.
this is what I want to happen. I want for EWC for Cloud9 to pick up Nightmare, and then just before EWC, Cloud9 disappears and drops them.
I think that would be really funny for Cloud, not for the players, but for Cloud9 to do that. But I don't know. But yeah, the whole team, despite having the best North American performance and getting third in the event, they're all free agents now.
I just want to see how many times Cloud9 can bait the Overwatch community by getting the partnership, about to pick up a team, and then just fucking disappearing. Just do that again. C9 again. I just want to see it one more time.
Yeah. So yeah, they're gone.
So
They're
this
gone,
game.
despite
So
this game. Let's talk about this game.
let's talk about this game.
There is so many questions that I could ask you about the implications of Nightmare beating Crazy Raccoon of this. But first of all, I just need you, AVRL, to like clarify or like what shine some light on this. Like, what's your opinion? How did Nightmare go from getting 0-6 in
Right.
Soup Cup against the middle of the table Korean teams to beating Crazy Raccoon 3-1?
So a couple things. I don't, and this is proven by the fact that Crazy Raccoon came back and then 3-0'd Nightmare in a very dominant fashion. This is, by the way, not negative against Nightmare. I'm gonna put out a giant neon flashing sign disclaimer right now, okay? Because I know people are gonna come at me with this comment, so I'm just gonna put the disclaimer out before I even say anything. I'm not taking away Nightmare's victory against Crazy Raccoon. They deserve to win. Crazy Raccoon deserved to lose against Nightmare in this game because Crazy Raccoon played like ass, okay? So I'm not taking the game away from Nightmare. They still deserve to win this. However, it needs to be said, this is where the big, bold, capital but comes in. Crazy Raccoon did underperform massively in this series, proven by the fact that when we watched the rematch, Crazy Raccoon fucking pounded them. Again, and I don't say that to like shit on Nightmare. I think Nightmare performed super well. I like the team. I like the players on that team. I'm adopting Zero as my Western son. Okay, Nightmare are a good team.
Bro's got so many sons.
Three
like
and then
Elon
one
Musk out here.
adopted. 3 and 1 adopted currently. Yeah, proud as my third son. Anyway, point being here is if you look at some of the things Crazy Raccoon were up to, the Shu Brig, huge question mark. When the fuck has Shu ever played Brig? This is crazy. They like swapped Chorong. What was Chorong was on Juno, Shu was on Brig. I think that's just a
Yes.
weird look. I think
I
I don't
think it's
agree with
because
that.
I remember when we were watching this, I was like, I'm pretty sure they were doing it because they wanted to have like, since they were thinking like maybe we have to swap the Brig to accompany this to like maybe if we wanted to play like Ana or like Kiriko at some point or something. And so like we'd rather Shu play those heroes, but then they started out with like Shu on Brig, and also because like Shu apparently doesn't like playing Juno, so it's like a combination of like doesn't want to play
just
Juno,
like
but also like the Brigida is like their flex pick, where like if they want someone to flex and get onto Ana or like Kiriko or something, they want it to be Shu over Chorong. So it's kind of like it's like a double-edged sword there, where like we want them to swap, but also now they're stuck on a suboptimal comp.
It was also the extremely funny screenshot I saw on Reddit. Someone sitting behind Shu took a very nice photo of him. I'll even link it if you feel like showing it. They caught a photo of Shu checking the F1, the Juno ability tab, and it's like the caption is Shu learning Juno in real time. It's like bro doesn't know how much checking the abilities, learning Juno in real time. I just thought it was hilarious. But Crazy Raccoon looked uncharacteristically uncoordinated, making weird plays. No one was carrying the game. Shu was like missing shit. Lip and Heesang were missing all their shit. Zero was playing out of his mind. Zero had probably the best game I ever seen on Zero. That was his career game. That's the game. If there was a Zero highlight reel, just put his entire POV of that game. In fact, it's on Obsoldier's channel, I'm pretty sure. The entire Zero POV of that series is his fucking... That's his whole resume. Might as well be. It's an insanely good POV from Zero.
The amount of sticks he got was crazy. An unbelievable amount of pulse bomb hits. If you'd have swapped the names, you'd be like, okay, we're showing up. Crazy Raccoon showing up as always, all good. But it's like actually Nightmare that winning it. It's the halfway through the series, I was like, surely at some point Raccoon just kind of lock in, because it felt like it's not that they were taking the game unseriously, but when a team just goes in like, we know we're going to win. We don't care that much. Like, it's like, okay, we're just going to win. We're just going to roll them. It's fine. We're just going to move on. Like, that's what everybody kind of expected. It felt like that to me. It felt like they went into it and were like, we're going to win. Like, we're not going to play like shit. We're not going to troll, but like, we're not going to be treating it like a grand finals, like Falcons match, where there's a trophy on.
And also, the Cuff at Hazard kind of dunked on Max, if we're going to be real. In the Hazard mirror in Kings Row.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cuffer took that guy to school. That was not a good look for Max.
Yeah. Well, how much has Max played Hazard?
So here's the funny thing. So when Hazard first came out, the first we saw at Hazard was in Soup Cup last year. And originally, when Crazy Raccoon won that first Soup Cup, they actually benched Jimbin in favor of Max on the Hazard for that specific period of time. But after that, when the Hazard meta took place, Jimbin was obviously the starter again, and he played all the Hazards instead of Max. So this year we didn't really see any Max Hazard at all until this tournament.
Right. I think the entire team, especially Zera, obviously, and especially on Root, like he fucking fragged out, like I said, just unbelievable amounts of carrying. I mean, Jake's been talking up Zera for like the longest time of being like Tracer, like a freak on Tracer, and obviously he is. But kind of like dunking on Heesang a little bit. Like Heesang, look, it didn't exist in the server, bro. That's what it felt like, especially on these Tracer duels. Like it just didn't feel like he was there. And I think UV and Admiral also had a really good game. I think Admiral especially, like if you look at his performance back on like Spitfire, like those kind of like old school Admiral, like he was okay, like he wasn't like insane, but he also like kind of popped off this series. Like Admiral over the years has gotten like exceptionally good at Lucio Brig and stuff. Like he's gotten better as time has gone on, because I think everybody would kind of agree like Admiral was one of the weaker opponents of that team.
I'd say so. Yeah, dating back to London Spitfire. Yeah,
to London Spitfire. He was the weakest
because they lost in the play-ins, right? And we're just like, Admiral was one of the weaker players on that team. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, they were super solid. And
he was like really good in this series, and he was really good in the tournament, and it has been for Nightmare for a long time. I think. Crazy Raccoon playing down a little bit, maybe Nightmare playing up to a degree that no one really expected. I think this made the tournament, I think, for a lot of people, because and if you compare that to like Virtus Pro, which everybody was like, they are the best team in the West, they're gonna absolutely dumpster NA, they're gonna like go crazy, like they're just so clean with it, they're so good. Like this was like holy fucking shit North America moment. Like the highest North America.
Go to map 3. Go to New Queen Street, because I want to bring this up as well. This is so outdated what Crazy Raccoon are doing. Earlier, because Lip started on Soldier. Why not even the ball?
Pig.
Why
the Soldier? The Soldier was the Soldier.
This is what I'm saying. Crazy Raccoon are like doing dumb shit. They're playing heroes.
They're playing down, bro.
They're just doing things that you shouldn't do. Like this isn't 2022 anymore. Soldier used to be really good at this map, but right now He's
He's
doggy
ass.
doo-doo versus Soj. Soj dominates Soldier. Why would you play Soldier? Like, it's so bad. Like, what? Like, you have to admit, Crazy Raccoon are playing really badly. They're doing weird stuff.
Yeah.
So they clearly not playing their best game. If Lip's fucking on Soldier on this map,
That's
also,
what I'm saying. I
think the ball
they
is not
weren't
good
taking
here
this
too.
as seriously as they should have done.
I think
they were
ball
like,
is
we're
a
gonna
bait
win.
here. You shouldn't be. I don't think ball is good on this map anymore. I think that's a bait. Me personally.
Really? I don't see. The thing is, with the ball, if you have someone like a Sojin, I think the ball's pretty decent.
I think it's
I
not
think
a
the
ball
ball's pretty
meta. And every time I see it, even if it's Jimbin, I feel like it's forced. We're just not in a ball meta. And so, I mean, the Soldier was the worst part. But like, I
Dude,
mean,
look at this tag visor. Look at this tag visor.
so sad. Dude. He kills Cuffer, right? No, he
Yeah,
doesn't.
it is. No, he doesn't because
It's
he just
just-
bubble dances. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God,
The Soldier.
it's such a-
You wanna? Is there truly no more like cucked hero than Soldier 76? Like.
No,
it's
he
just
is.
Bro,
He's
bro
Omega
is
cucked.
like actually in the cuck chair. Like all he does
Yeah.
is just sustain damage in the game that has like insanely high amounts of healing.
Now
so
in
he can never
Stadium,
kill
on the
anyone.
other hand, he's very
yeah, in
OP.
Stadium, sure. If we give him MOBA, if he can fucking buy the Helm of Darkness, then yeah, maybe Soldier could like do a little bit more. But unfortunately, in the live service 5v5 game mode,
Dude,
it's,
look at him run. He just runs. It's just so stupid.
It's just not a good look. I mean, Crazy Raccoon definitely did not have their best game here. I mean, we let AVRL get his cope agenda in, which to be fair was actually right. Even
It
though,
wasn't
you
Cobra
know,
agenda. Okay, yeah.
No,
it
it's
wasn't
real.
Cobra agenda. It was
Listen,
just
we
like-
have you're not letting us bait AVRL when you say it was. You
Oh,
gotta
I'm
get
sorry.
some bait,
My
come on.
bad. My bad.
But he's right. I mean, they didn't play very well this series. They didn't play very well this series. Nightmare played really, really well though. Like this was a great performance of them. And also, when you consider some of their play, I think earlier in their tournament too, I don't think they played like that badly. I think their last match they got versus Crazy Raccoon, they got shit stomped. But even earlier in the series, who did they play as their first match of the tournament? It was like
Who, Chris Raccoon? SSG.
no,
SG. Oh,
like, they
Nightmare?
played
CC.
yeah. CC. I mean, well, CC obviously they weren't very good, but they still looked really good. Obviously to CC, they rolled them like they looked really really strong to CC. Like this team looked good like overall throughout this tournament. So there was some hope
he
for North
tried.
American Overwatch.
He tried.
Yeah, the next day I woke up and I was thinking like, how will we reflect on this Nightmare win, a great against Crazy Raccoon? And you obviously have to give Nightmare credit for like capitalizing on the mistakes that Crazy Raccoon went. But if you just looked at like the scoreboard, even the series looks like pretty dodgy from just like a map set. You're like, okay, so Crazy Raccoon absolutely dominate Ilios, and then Nightmare wins a close King's Row where Shu plays Sen and Max is feeding on the hazard. And then Nightmare win New Queen Street where Junbin is playing ball and Lip on Soldier and they C9 in the end. And then you can give
yeah, the C9.
and you can give Nightmare
forgot
a
about
ton
that.
of credit. All of them played their life game on Route 66 and like they closed out the series obviously. It's like massive credit to them for closing out on Route 66. That was the most impressive map to me. But you look at that series and I couldn't get around to believing in Nightmare because I looked at that series and I was like, I can't help but feel that Crazy Raccoon underperformed. So I never
They
really
got away with it.
I never really bought
Nightmare
into
got
the
away with
idea that Nightmare would beat Falcons to like get to the grand finals or like could repeat this result. But still, massive credit to Nightmare for capitalizing on some of the weird stuff that Crazy Raccoon did. And obviously it was a great achievement, so you know.
Yeah. And
Are they the first Western teams in OWCS to beat a Korean team? So
Yeah. Well,
In OWCS, yes. In
Yeah.
EW, because like technically EWC last year was not
yeah,
EWCS,
Falcons
right?
lost to OA already, but they're
So,
not a
but
Western
that-
team. Falcons
Yeah,
are
I'm pretty
Chinese,
sure
so
they might be the first.
Western team it would be. Wait, no, Toronto beat Zeta though.
But that wasn't
In-
wasn't that EWC?
It was
That was
EWC.
EWC.
That's what I'm saying. EWC was not part of OWCS officially last year. Right now it is. So
Hard to call it
technically,
official, I guess. Yeah.
We're gonna be rule booking. We're rule booking the win.
Wow.
And, we're rule booking the win. And it's technically not. They are the first now because EWC last year was not part of it. So
Okay,
I
sure.
will say this, regardless of what we consider to be part of Circuit or not, if we look back at the history of professional Overwatch, I personally think this is the biggest upset in Overwatch Esports history. And the reason why, I've looked at the commentary, I put it on Twitter to see what other people think, and to get examples of other people putting in, maybe the Vancouver loss to who was Vancouver?
Washington
First
Justice.
thing- Washington and like some
Stage
shit
4,
like that.
Korean Stratus.
Yeah, and there's some people brought up that, and
my
some there was
God,
some
the
other
Korean
losses as
strike.
That
well.
was
There
a
was some
meta shift
other-
as well. It was the meta shift in stage 4, so
Meta
it's not the
shift.
Vancouver
It went, like-
Titans goats. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were some other examples as well. I could bring them up, but none of them are as good as this. And the reason why is because we now live in an era of Overwatch where we've assembled possibly the best fantasy rosters you actually can. Because in the world of contractual Overwatch League and franchises, it's like way harder to build these giga stacked fantasy type teams. But in like a more free market, but pre-partnership even from last year, yeah, you built Falcons and Crazy Raccoon might be two of the best teams ever assembled in Overwatch history ever. So there's point number one. Point number two would be Crazy Raccoons have had a ton of dominance over the past 2 years. They've won so many tournaments. Most of the biggest tournaments basically never even dropped a map to the West, let alone lose to a Western team.
Yeah.
So essentially you have a situation where Crazy Raccoon are at the peak of the peak among the best of the fantasy rosters you could ever build in Overwatch history. Also then dominating by winning just about everything. And then you have an NA that is debatably weaker than it's ever been because you can't just stack 5 Koreans on an NA team like you could in Overwatch League, right? So NA is weaker than it has been in the history of Overwatch. So then you have those two combined into this type of upset where the best Korean roster, super team, fantasy team loses to an NA team from a weak NA region, weaker than it has been in the past. That's insanely big. That's way more of an upset than like a Vancouver, Washington situation in my mind.
Yeah, I think if you gotta give some shout outs, I think I agree with you. I'm like 70-80% sure I agree with you. I think the shout outs you gotta give is Saudi Arabia reverse sweeping China in the World Cup finals. You gotta give that a shout out. London 3-0ing Atlanta Reign in
Yep,
the
those are some good ones.
2023 playoffs.
Yeah.
Like Atlanta were just boomed. They were just, which was weird because they were dominant all of regular season. They won the mid-season madness, and then they got 3-0'd by London Spitfire, who came there from the play-ins. I'm pretty sure. So like that was super weird, and everyone just lost their mind essentially. But then after that, I really can't remember.
But even those ones, right? Think about this. China was never like a world champion team. You never looked like China like, wow, this is a Crazy Raccoon fantasy Korean roster that's like yeah, but like
it was
they're not
essentially
Florida
Angels
Mayhem.
Park.
Look, if Saudi Arabia beat the Florida Mayhem, different conversation. But they beat the Hangzhou Spark, that's a good achievement. I'm not trying to take that away. But it's very different than beating Crazy Raccoon, who like 1.5 years worth of like being like potentially the best team. And then you have the Atlanta situation. It's like Atlanta won mid-season, but I think the gap between London and Atlanta is nowhere near as the gap between Nightmare and Crazy Raccoon, at least on paper. Right? On paper gap between Atlanta and London is way more plausible than Nightmare versus Crazy Raccoon. If it was possible to look at the statistics of how many people in the pick'ems had London beating Atlanta versus how many people would have had Nightmare beating Crazy Raccoon, I bet almost no one had Nightmare beating Crazy Raccoon.
Especially because Nightmare, I think that was even more exacerbated by the fact that like the region compared to Overwatch League, at least I guess there was the Korea split, the APAC split at that point, but they were still in the same like NA region competing. Nightmare literally almost never gets to play against APAC teams, you know, outside of like the Soup Cup that occurred and like these international events. Like there's way less practice. Yeah, I know, but the point is like there's way less practice going on versus like London was at least during that time getting to play against other Overwatch League teams in North America that had very strong rosters. Like Nightmare winning here, they weren't even getting to play against the best teams in the world, you know, like they wouldn't even get to play against like the best region Overwatch. Like they showed up and fucking a team of like essentially half of them like collegiate players fucking beat Crazy Raccoon, you know. So it is like a very different scale comparatively to Overwatch League, where like at least in Overwatch League, all those guys were like doing it like super full-time seriousness. Like we're none of this collegiate bullshit. Not there's anything wrong with college. It's just more so like people weren't splitting their time with a collegiate roster, you know, in the Overwatch League.
Yeah.
And additionally, everyone was in the same region, or at least if you're in North America, you were all playing the same teams and you were all in the same ping advantage.
I felt like I saw a tweet somewhere that was like, bro's got to play his collegiate match next week or something. Just come off and in against just go against Raccoon. They got to play collegiate next week, bro.
He's gonna have to play the University of North Miami next week. It's a big match.
Yeah, it's a big match. Yeah. Which is I'd agree with you, Avast. Yeah, it's like it's not really. It's like 50% the same level, you could argue, but yeah, not the same level as like Overwatch League in terms of power levels in that regard, and like full time versus like not part time OWCS, but yeah, almost because you're splitting with collegiate and studying and stuff.
For Nightmare though, being able to say that you're the third best team in the world,
It's
massive
great.
credit to them. That's a great achievement.
That's awesome.
No one had.
I hope
Nightmare
they
being
get
the
picked
third
up.
best.
Like they're free agents right now. So
Yeah, it's nuts.
yeah, that team needs to get picked up. Like
If any
ASAP,
org
man.
considered entering Overwatch, there's your free ticket. Like you don't even have to like do
Yeah,
scouting or
actually,
anything.
yeah.
Just literally pick up the
Yeah.
roster. Because there's a lot of teams that come into the space and they're just like, okay, well, what do we do here? And they need like consulting or like help to like assemble a roster.
Yeah.
Now you don't even need
Literally
to do
pick up
scouting. Literally
Nightmare.
just pick up the team that got third.
Yeah.
And you know they're gonna be good because they did well last year too. To close things out, right?
I mean, it's insane because this is the only of the top teams, the only unpartnered team in the top 3 of North America. You know, when you consider that SSG and Liquid are partnered, and the partnered teams typically have first choice, first dibs on whatever players they want in the whole region. Nightmare, I wouldn't say they're like a scraps team, but they have to pick up the pieces remaining after Liquid and SSG got to plunder NA first. And so the fact that they ended up building what is now the best team in NA after the fact is super impressive.
Yeah. Couple of things to add on here. First of all, the screenshot that you requested, Avril, of Shu putting up to
learning
F1.
judo.
How to learn judo.
Oh, what do these abilities do?
Yeah,
It's like, what's pulsar torpedoes? I wonder if that is important. It is orbital ray.
Guy that just saw Juno for the first time. Oh man,
Yeah.
this seems pretty.
I wonder if this glide thing is good. How fast is the speed?
that was pretty good.
Searching up like the car queue, like he's on stage with the car
dude,
queue guy.
can you imagine?
He's like,
can you
"Oh,
imagine?
fuck."
He's like full screened car queue video, top 10 tips by a Juno main, bro. That would be fucking crazy.
It's like, hold on, like we need to find.
Wait a second, we need a 5-minute
and
break.
it's fine because Crazy Raccoon already gets extra time on their breaks, so he gets an extra time. He gets a TikTok break, so he can go look at the car queue like TikTok tips. And the admin's like, okay, give this guy another hour to review Juno 1 second, and he's like looking through.
Zero said just put in the chat. Time for Plat Chat to pick up Nightmare roster. I mean, now would be the time.
Team Plat Chat.
How much money?
I
We're
would
going
like to
Valorant
say-
guys. Like, hey, can we take
I
some of
don't
your
think we
money
can
too?
afford that. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest.
there were
I'm
some
not
other
sure.
imminent financial concerns before. we
The
could take-
Valorant boys
Now,
could,
grant-
surely.
The coffers.
Yeah,
the coffers are
that's true.
empty.
You know, this could be. That's a good point. This could be sort of like a federal funding thing. Like, be like, hey, Plat Chat Valorant, like, we need the money because our services are crumbling. Like, we need to repair
Hey,
the roads.
hey, Plat Chat Valorant. We have an idea.
Yeah,
What if you pick up the third best Overwatch team in the world?
Oh, so true.
Now they
all
would
right.
get they could theoretically get an immediate payout because we could sell their contracts to a larger organization for a buyout.
Yeah, we're
and
investing.
additionally, there is EWC, so they could go try to potentially win some prize money that we could farm back to
Dude,
Plat
Plat
Chat.
Chat
So
gets
crazy.
the little thing on the trophy and stuff. And it
Yeah,
says Plat
imagine
Chat.
that.
Get the
Imagine.
jerseys and it's Manscaped and Freeze Pipe on the
It's a-
jerseys. and
Oh, the freeze pipe. That would go hard.
It's a good thing Josh loves the EWC. I'm sure there's no issues there. But
Yeah. He loved directly competing. I think they're gonna make his face the banner for Plat Chat.
his face should be the
Overwatch.
logo. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
Actually,
Mikel would
that-
also strangle Johnny before this would happen.
yeah. We'll discuss. Anyway, one. I don't know if you saw this as well. This was pretty funny as well. Obviously, after Nightmare 1, Kaffa riling up the crowd.
Kaffa was bigging him up.
They
bro.
are
Yeah.
on top of the world, and obviously don't blame the guys on top of the world. Kaffa's doing some handshakes and then running up the crowd more. Just keeps running up the crowd in between every single player here. They are just like, they feel like they're the kings. They feel like they're on top of the
Can
world.
you go back to the start of that?
They're doing great. Then here, Crazy Raccoon, they beat him.
Oh, I didn't
And Crazy
see that. What the
Raccoon, they win and sitting down and just like.
A lot less sauce in it, though. I respect it, but a lot less sauce. A lot less sauce. Unfortunately,
Would you
for
say-
the prop, there's
Dude,
way
it's
less
like,
sauce.
look at the start of this thing.
Connor,
It's like,
Connor, would you say would you say this is 2-second rulebook type
Nightmare
of
be
energy?
like,
Oh, this is 2-second rulebook type of energy for sure coming out of there. Now, to be fair, I don't know how involved the Crazy Raccoon players were in the rulebook. It could be the coach, right? Like, it might not
Oh,
be
it could be
exactly
Moon.
the players.
The players
I
are
think
not
it's
good.
probably
About
Moon.
this.
I think the
But
players care way
I
less
think
than like the
real
coaches
problem,
do.
the real problem with most of the APAC teams is that like they don't. Oftentimes they have more of like an aura farming aura where like they're just like sitting there looking cool. They don't have like the energy farming type of aura. That's why they need a white guy. They need a token white guy on every one of these APAC rosters that can do the energy farming for them a bit.
Yeah.
Because they
Is
can
that
do the
Majed's
aura
job?
farming.
He's not white, but he is Western.
He's not
you know,
white,
so
but he
count?
he can do that. He could do that. Like, I think Majet oftentimes falls more to the aura farming category, not the energy farming category.
Right,
though.
right.
So they don't.
He does farm aura.
Exactly. They need to import like a Kuffa type, right? They need to import a Kuffa for the APEC rosters to really get that sort of vibe going for them, because they just don't have the sauce. Otherwise, they're more just, they look cool. They can do the cool looks, but they can't do like the, oh, let's get fucking hype, let's go lads. Like, they just don't have the sauce for it.
I don't blame Kuffa. I did the same thing in my playing career, so
shout out to
that was
the
me.
Chinese fans of the audience with their insane fan cams and pictures they're taking.
Dude, everything recorded, everything. Yep,
It's sick, man.
they're on top of it.
I like that video because it's got Mandarin, then it says it's like Mandarin CR be like, and it's like a crazy raccoon be like, nightmare be like. It's kind of funny.
Okay, so on next is, I don't think we need to watch the match too much because it was Shu were just having an absolute field day here, but there were these answers from, once again, after the post tournament here. AVRL, you sent this to me. Do you wanna walk through some of these answers here? I mean, I could just read off the bullet points, but what?
Basically, we could just read it off. I could read it off. You could read it off. But TF, so Falcons. This was really funny. I didn't know Gushue were like, he was this close to Falcons players, because what information we had before was that prior to this, a little bit of backstory time, Hanbin, there was a DM between Hanbin and Gushue where Hanbin called Gushue Winston God. Yeah. So Hanbin clearly respects the fuck out of Gushue in terms of Winston. So I think Falcons just really like Gushue in that kind of regard, or maybe Hanbin just loves him. But Falcons invited Gushue out for drinks. Gushue didn't go because he doesn't drink. He apparently only got 8 hours of sleep over the 2 days of the tournament. He believed OA had a good shot at reaching the grand finals. To be fair, I think that was pretty reasonable. He was planning to cross-dress if OA ended up in second place. There we go.
We missed out, bro.
We missed out.
No.
OA was in terrible shape.
For the Florida they them, or for the HRT shot?
OA was in terrible shape after playing SSG. So exhausted they felt like they would lose to even Team CC. It looked like it, to be honest with you. By the time, even the last 2 maps at OA versus SSG was looking dire. And then by the time they got to CR, they just looked completely cooked. And then he says Shy had food poison on day 1. Was throwing up all night and barely got any sleep. The backstory there is Shy had some potato apparently, and that is where he got the food poisoning.
It's just crazy to me. Like, was it moldy? Like,
I don't know. 2025 Potato Gate. He's played well despite the food poisoning, so I didn't notice. OA hadn't played a LAN tournament in a long time, and everyone on the team realized they lacked the stamina for it. Gushue walked by Falcon's practice room, and everyone came out to shake his hand and say something to him. Harmon also took a photo with him. Again, Harmon loves this guy. Harmon's a big fan. Gushue said it's quite lucrative for ex-pros to provide boosting services. Unless organizations offer high salaries, it's hard to attract newcomers to play Overwatch professionally. Fun fact about that story is there's a team in OWCS China, I believe it's Little Sheep. Their entire team is boosters. Little fun fact there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not very liked in the Chinese scene for that reason.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And a Pritter apparently has the voice of a late-night DJ.
I don't even know what
That is
means.
okay. I need to hear a Pritter's voice.
That's great.
I read this. I'm like, God, I need this.
That's great. And then moving on, there's another page here, Mew as well. Also says that everyone's exhausted after playing as SSG. Mew, when asked why he remained seated when Team Falcons came over to shake hands, Mew was in a state of disbelief and was dwelling on his mistake. He didn't even realize Team Falcons had to come over. I understand that. Sometimes people are like very invested in the moment. They forget to shake hands. It happens, okay? It's no big deal. I know a lot of people like to blow this over sometimes. They're just like, oh my God, they didn't shake hands. They hate each other. But sometimes you're just lost in the moment. So, I mean, especially if you AJ like that. Like, you're probably thinking about the AJ more than, shaking hands. So, I get it. Was there anything else here that you pointed out? There's some rumor milling. There's some height conversation.
Liga has the most female fans more than Shy.
What? Sorry?
Liga has more female fans more than Shy. So
That's a funny one.
Let's discuss this.
Let's discuss.
Let's dive into this one.
Yeah.
Let's figure out what is it about Liga? Can we pull up a photo?
You can go to his Wikipedia. I'm sure there's a photo there.
Okay.
We're derailing. This is a good derail, though. I need to know.
Let's discuss this. What could be the reason? Does he stream a lot? Does Liga stream a lot?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Does
Dude, Liga's a good-looking guy, to be fair. Look at him on Spark. I'm looking at his Wikipedia.
I can't wait to see what Avast has to say about this. Okay, here is the photo. What do you want to say?
Handsome looking guy. I mean, I could see it. I mean, he's got kind of like with the way that
He's
he's
got
done
the
his hair,
scruffy
kind
hair
of,
look.
kind of,
I like
yeah, he's
that.
done the kind of like a disgruntled, like kind of like the out of place but clearly placed out of place hair. Like it's a very good look that he's cultivating. So I could see that it's perhaps a bad boy.
Is there
persona.
hair down here too? That must be a long haircut.
You might have that little mullet going on, maybe.
Yeah, could have the Chinese mullet going.
Didn't Jinmu have that?
Possible.
Oh, the Jinmu mullet? Yeah. No, wait, Krillin.
I don't know.
Krillin.
Does
Krillin
Ligue?
had
Does
a
I wish
mullet.
we knew if Ligue streamed but overall that's good to know. That's good to know. That's sort of the persona that we're looking for.
The last
I was
couple of
thinking
things
about
was,
Gaga, maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
the last couple of things that was good from the that translation from the streams, by the way, just to finish that off, is actually one really interesting thing about the scrims. So apparently in the scrims, you were saying in scrims they were 50-50 against Falcons, and they didn't always lose to Crazy Raccoon, and even beat them on Cervasa, which is why they ended up picking that map against them in the lower bracket. So, fun fact there from scrims that OA were actually 50-50 versus Falcons, which is super fucking good, considering that, like, most people kind of wrote off OA for the most part. Majed apparently came to say hi, but didn't recognize him, and our coach... Oh, they didn't recognize Majed. They thought he was sugar-free. Oh, fuck. They thought Majed was sugar-free. Shy says he's planning to get an 8-pack before EWC. He notices Falcons and Crazy Raccoon only eat KFC and McDonald's.
Dude, it's crazy. I was
Fast
on the
food
same
pill.
floor as Crazy Raccoon during Stockholm, and I swear to God, every night I came home from the broadcast to my hotel room in Stockholm, there was Crazy Raccoon guys eating McDonald's. It's crazy.
They fucking love it, dude. I don't know what's
They love
going on.
Maccas.
Yeah, it's,
They love Macca's. Dude.
we need.
I bet
so-
they use the app to get deals. Do you think they use the app to get deals?
I want to hear from
the,
them.
The McDonald's app goes crazy for the
What
deals.
country has the best McDonald's? Like, I need a McDonald's
probably
review. Does
know.
it,
My-
is it
my
Dallas,
favorite is
Los
actually
Angeles,
Korea.
Stockholm, Korea, China?
The best McDonald's I had was Korea, personally.
I will
That's
say,
not some Korea bias. It just was. I don't know.
I didn't-
Best KFC was also Korea to me.
I didn't go to McDonald's in China, but I went to Burger King in China, and they cooked. They had, but like, you know, good quality, but like they had some weird offerings as well that you wouldn't really get. They had like a squid burger or something, and I was like, what is happening here? Burger King in China?
Squid burger.
Yeah, it was. No, it's like the buns. The buns had squid ink in them. I was like,
Squid
what is-
Ink. Right.
Yeah, squid ink. Yeah, I
Not
was like,
Squid
what is-
Games, guys. Not Squid Games.
So I don't know. I've never been to McDonald's in China, but I'd
if
love
I
to hear
was-
from them. Yeah.
If I was on Falcons and Crazy Raccoon, I would be quite disappointed by the KFC and McDonald's offering the rest of the world compared to Korea. Because, like, I don't know. I don't know what it was about the Korean versions, but they would just taste better. They had better food.
Yeah, that's
I don't
high
know what it
quality
is.
stuff. Yeah. Did go to Burger King Korea. It's pretty good too. It's pretty good too. I haven't been to McDonald's. I'm more of a Burger King guy, I guess. Okay. I guess for once again, we kind of talked about their unfortunate loss against Falcons. Mew AJ. They beat them in Maga Comp. All in all, good tournament from once again. Understandable they were tired, but I don't think you can ask much more from once again. They lived up to expectations and they did like the best they could. I don't think you can leave that tournament disappointed by any means. Yep, everyone's nodding.
Well, I mean,
Everyone's
I'm sure
nodding.
some people probably would have loved for them to do better, but I think it's a good tournament. So.
We
I think a
actually
lot of
just-
people expect them to do worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
True.
yeah.
I mean, showing up after. I mean, I guess I didn't know how they were gonna look, so they did look good. I had no idea what their form was gonna be. I didn't assume that they were gonna be that good just because I didn't know who they were gonna be playing. But I guess it makes sense. They've just been hard scrimming top Korean teams, so good for them. Good for those guys. I'm glad Chinese Overwatch is back. Overall, like I said, let's make it Chinese. Let's just make it Chinese, man. Like let's
Yeah,
do it.
dating back to that conversation, we actually talked about it in the green room during the match, and we decided that the best outcome for Overwatch Esports and Overwatch as a whole would be if once again just won the tournament, and then you're like in a golden age of China embracing Overwatch, kind of like when Saudi Arabia won the World Cup. Saudi Arabia was like, "This is our esport. We dominate in Overwatch," and then China would have just embraced Overwatch forever and just been like, "This is our game."
Yeah,
I agree.
Chinese, I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm down
but
for that.
unfortunately they got fourth, and Nightmare outperformed them. So there you go.
But They beat VP and proved everyone wrong who thought VP was
And
going to get
most
away.
important part, Europe looked like the worst region in the tournament. Most important part, Europe looked like the worst region. North
Again,
America on
wasn't
top.
it the same in Stockholm too? I think so.
Well, it doesn't really matter.
Well,
that.
twisted
The
minds, I
point
guess,
is that it keeps happening. That's the important part.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
the important part is
Okay.
that
Can
we
I cope?
continuously get the information.
Can I cope?
Yeah, you can cope. You can cope.
Okay, can I
You'll be
cope?
wrong, but you can cope.
Virtus Pro. They took a map of CR.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
That's my cope. I actually believed in what Virtus Pro was cooking at Soup. I actually think that I had faith. I think a lot of people went into this event and they had faith in like Vistola playing like a Sigma and Jwoo and the May and stuff like that. Like this brawl poked stuff they were doing in Soup. I actually had faith in it. I think Fixa looked good on the brig too. But I mean, what are you gonna do? You played Crazy Raccoon. You lost to Away, which sucks. But Away also looked amazing in those comps too. Like Mew popped off on the brig.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you lose to Crazy Raccoon, like you can't. Like, what are you gonna do? You can't be upset about that.
I think
can't
we
be
all
like,
expect them
"Oh,
to lose that game.
Disappointment. They lost to Crazy Raccoon. Like, you can't say that.
The real messed up thing is they probably expected to be up against Nightmare. I think the whole world expected them to be playing Nightmare, right? So
we thought that exact thing. We thought that was going to happen, and they were going to.
we missed out on NA versus EU. So I have you know what, Johnny, I can give you some European cope. I got some grade A Scandinavian cope coming your way, and I think it's good too. And the cope is the fact that we never actually got to see EU versus NA. So did NA perform good this tournament? Yes, but they beat a Crazy Raccoon that did random shit like Lip Soldier. Again, not to take away from the generational game that Nightmare played that was deserved. But SSG, they beat CC, and then they also lost to Crazy Raccoon, that lost to OA. Basically, the entire West just had an experience of losing to OA and Crazy Raccoon, and also to each other, because you have to remember that Al Qadsiah got eliminated by Virtus Pro. They didn't even get to play. They got to play Falcons, and they had to play an EU team. We got
took a map
0
off.
NA versus EU. Which they, you know what? That's also good European cope. They took a map off Falcons too.
Yeah,
we're submitting the
unfortunately, no
cope here,
wins.
but we can't compete with
wins.
Nightmare beating Crazy Raccoon, unfortunately. So I feel like we're just dominating.
They just lose. They lose. They
Yeah.
lose no matter what. It's Jover. It's just supremely Jover.
Yeah, but
for
what do you guys
EMEA
think
right
would
now.
have happened if it was VP versus Nightmare in the low bracket? What happens?
We'll never
I
know.
think Nightmare.
We'll never know.
I mean, we'll never know,
a
but it
mystery.
depends entirely. Let's just say theoretically, like, because are we just gonna come up with an entirely alternate reality, or are we just gonna say like theoretically they lose in map 5 to Crazy Raccoon or something? Because even if they would have took Crazy Raccoon to map 5, like, okay, Nightmare beats VP. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like essentially we have to create an entirely different fan fiction where now it's no
Well, I
longer
mean-
for this to even.
Okay, let me put it like
be
this.
talked about.
Let me put it like this. VP get eliminated. Nightmare get eliminated when they lose to Crazy Raccoon the second time, and then we just have a Nightmare versus VP match for like $1 million, so that both teams are trying their hardest.
$1 million. That's
I'm
more
just
than the
saying-
prize pool here.
I'm just putting a hypothetical that makes them try. I just want to make not some stupid show match where they
Dude,
try.
to make
a
them
game where
try,
they
put
try.
10K on the line.
Okay, whatever amount of money that makes them try, who wins? Is what I'm saying. The
I mean,
I would probably
hypothetical
say
of
VP.
Nightmare
It
versus
depends
VP.
if Zera has a fucking life game, but I'd probably say VP.
I mean, if you take if
I
I
don't
take
know.
this tournament, it'd be like definitely Nightmare. If you had told me
Nightmare,
before, I would have been like, well, maybe VP. But
I
like,
mean,
you know,
before,
I can't
we
in a
put VP
vacuum.
over
Yeah,
Nightmare.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Before,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, but like now I saw the performance, so I'm like, well,
Yeah.
like
Probably
how can
Nightmare.
I,
Yeah.
like, what am I supposed? Am I supposed to like delete that memory from my brain? To
I'll cope and
No,
say VP.
you include the memory. The whole point is to include all.
I'm including the
factors.
memory. I'm including the memory. Nightmare slaps their cheeks red. Nightmare. I mean, like they didn't look very good. Like VP didn't look good. Also, VP, and to be fair, they did this in Europe too. But I think the region is just not that good in general. But like this,
Oh,
fucking
this guy's
Orisa-
coming for gold.
Well, they're not. I mean, EMEA is not very good outside of Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro is really good. I think they honestly maybe had a bit of an underperformance. But like, also this Orisa shit is totally stupid. I fucking hate it beyond belief.
Yeah,
like
okay, more
it
cope,
wasn't
more
very
cope.
good.
Unlucky meta for Virtus Pro. Unlucky meta for Virtus Pro. Their Malga stuff
Is it-
got nerfed.
Wait. No, well,
and-
Falcons play Malga.
But I mean, Falcons just played the Malga, you know. Like the thing is, that's the difference. Is I think the problem with EMEA is that they're not delusional enough. Korea will just be like Korea will just be like fuck it, like, and that's also why London Spitfire like worked. London Spitfire was literally I don't know who the most delusional person was on London Spitfire. It might have been Christopher. Like I don't know. Like it could have been Hottie. Like there's a couple different people, but like they we're delusional enough to be like, fuck it, we're just playing Reinhardt. Like, fuck this shit. Like, yeah, we're gonna make it work. Like, and I think Falcons were like, wait a minute, like, we should just play like the thing that we're good at. Like, I don't give a shit if it's not meta. Like, we're gonna go for it. The problem with VP is they got into their own heads. They let what was good tell them how they should have played. And that's the problem. They needed to be more delulu. They needed to be more delusional. They needed to be less sane. They needed to be insane, even. They needed to be thinking like that.
Insane.
And that's why Nightmare worked. When Wheats walked out of the shower, like it's oh my god, it's just a dream. It's a nightmare. And that's the thing. That's why it worked.
Wow.
I
so good with his words.
don't think the VP meta was that bad, considering they have the same strengths as Falcons. Okay, obviously they don't have fucking Proper and Stalker, but like in terms of their compositions, it's a very similar style. The difference is that Hanbin's willing to pull out the Winston even if it's not amazing. Whereas Vistola, I don't know what his Winston looks like, but he just goes Orisa when shit turns bad. And I don't know if I love the Orisa.
Vistola does not have a Winston.
It's just a brawl. They just play brawl.
But once again, I don't think they even had to necessarily play the win. They didn't necessarily have to pull out the Winston if they didn't need to. They could have just forced Malga. It's like in the Esperanza where they played the Han Winston or Suravasa or something, when they could have just potentially just forced more Malga, you know?
Right.
Or I think that's the thing here is that like we're taking the lessons of like, oh, well, Vestola's not flexible enough. Well, guess what? Hanbin didn't need to be flexible enough. In fact, him being flexible probably hurt Falcons, where they should have just played more fucking Malga.
Okay, well, come on now. Like, Hanbin is literally like LeBron James of Overwatch. You can't just be like, oh, just be like him. Like, just be like Hanbin.
Well, no, but Vestola is really, really good.
Yeah, but Vestola's not going to pick up the
No,
win.
Vestola's Sigma is better. Vestola's Sigma is better too.
But like Vestola's Sigma is still really good. His Sigma's good. His Malga's good. Like, they could have made it work. That is just they got outgamed by their own. And to be fair, I don't blame them. A lot of teams fall into this trap. I mean, we've been having this discussion since Monte Cristo season 1 of Overwatch League. So like this shit is like older than everything else. Like we're fucking fossilized talking about like this conversation. But I do think like they just should have been more delusional. Like, well, because the thing is they only have like 25% delusion. Like they need to be like, we're better than America. Okay, there's like 25% delusion. Now fulfill it. Play the Malga. Play it.
Real quick.
100%.
You notice in this VOD right now, Max dodges the Sigma 1v1. Just want to point that out. Even Max fears the Vistola Sigma.
Wow.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, Vistola has Sigma aura for sure. After Team Finland achievement.
The sheep trembles before the lion.
So true.
I don't know where this interview was,
hard.
but I was on Reddit one day, maybe like a week ago or so, before the tournament started, and Smash did an interview. It might have been Overwatch University, but I don't watch the Overwatch University.
I think it was, yeah.
Like, I read the transcript sometimes, but they talked to Smash
Oh, sorry,
about
he
it.
is playing Sigma. Never mind.
And
My bad.
oh, there you go. And Smash said something akin to like we just play to our strengths, or we just play to our strengths, like, you know, this roster we have and we're gonna make the most of it. And you know they do, like they pull out this comp, like this is Virtus Pro comp right here, like they play double poke Galas on the Illari, which Jake was not a fan of the Illari in the green room for understandable reasons. So like this is just not available here.
Not that bad.
It's a Gala special. It's his special hero.
It's a Gala special. It's also hell. I know I'm a
Yeah,
Illari
but like,
defender
okay,
and
so
everything,
like-
but like
Okay, defend it. What value are you getting Illari on this defense?
the poke is crazy. Although your ult is ass. Like you probably want to have a fucking Juno. I'm gonna be honest.
I swear
like, if
there's
you're-
so many supports you're gonna get more value out of than the Illari
Yeah,
defense
you
here.
could play Zen, bro. Like you could just play Zen. You have the trance
banned the Zen,
as
though.
backup.
They banned the Zen.
Oh, they did ban the Zen. Yeah. So you'd probably still rather have a Juno, to be honest, because the Illari ult against this comp is just dog shit. Like maybe you catch the backline like Shu Chong and blow them up, but like your poke is good. Your poke is really good. You destroy Sugar Shield really quickly, but you're gonna try and hit Lip. He's gonna dash away. You're gonna hit Heesang. He's gonna fucking block. Max is probably gonna ease it. Fucking shield. It's not that good. It's fun to watch.
You didn't even mention the abusable pylon spots on A. That's one of the best parts.
The abusable pylon spots on A. Okay, when they push around the corner, they insta-destroy pylon, then your healing goes to 0.
Yeah,
like-
well, you just win the poke battle, so they can't push the corner.
See,
That's-
yeah, exactly. You just win the poke banner against the Mei and the Sojourn. Yeah.
Avril's spinning with that one.
I am a big fan of Illari on this map. I think it's really good, like against the poke, but like you just can't, especially against someone like a Mei too. You just can't. I think it's a bad bit. I don't think it's good. But they're playing into their strengths, and like Smash said, and Gala's very good on the Illari, to be fair. And you can 3-tap supports, and
He built the captive sun, bro. He built the captive sun.
Yeah, the ult's ass. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really, really.
And
bad
then
goal.
Against this kind of comp, like
yeah, it's not
Come on.
gonna. It's
Sigma, fucking May, like they don't have a Kiriko, guys. They can't cleanse it, but
oh
like
my god,
it's not.
This is unbelievable cope. I can't do this. And
It's
then
not even cope. I'm like not even defending the pick. Like it's not that good.
I can't do it.
It's just not that good.
Yeah, here it is. Let's just watch the captive sun. Here it is, captive sun.
Here it is. He's literally fucking holding
Let's just
it.
we're throwing it out there
connects.
somewhere. I don't even know if it hit anyone.
And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it's also such a brutal like 2-stage ult here. Because like even if you connect, it's like okay, now we have to fucking.
Now
hit this
you need the
guy
damage.
to like do the damage. It's hard.
And
as fuck.
when you're using Captive Sun too, you need to be like either already pushing them or like you can't be in a position where you like.
They won the fight. Holy
wanna
shit! Look, they won the fight.
Okay, not off the Captive Sun, bro. They want to push. You can't be using it when you're like walking up to push around a corner because you're literally holding it, and then they're using their defensives. They use a wall, they use hands or whatever. You just can't. It's come on.
Yeah.
I was trying to
sped it
back
up.
you up, Jack. I don't know why you did that.
No, dude,
was on
I'm
your-
not
I
backing
was on your
myself here.
team,
I'm not
dude.
backing the Alari. I don't give a fuck. The Alari is not a good pick. The Alari is not a good pick. It's a very VP thing to do, and it's a very
Yeah.
Smash thing
This
to
guy
do.
started.
Like,
this guy
play
started
best ring.
defending the Alari. He's like, all right, I'll defend the Alari, and then he ends with, nah, it's actually not a good pick.
Nah, it's not that good.
This guy just fumbled
You'd rather
so
have a
hard.
Juno and Bap. Like a Juno and Bap is insane. Because Juno is literally you press Q and then you win. Like it's a dumb ultimate.
I think VP's best comp was actually the Ram comp overall.
Yeah.
I
mean, they've been playing a lot of Ram.
Because like the Orisa, I don't think it's an Orisa meta. Not a believer. Sigma, when it's possible, but there's barely enough maps where you can play the Sigma. Circuit Royale is their best map, but I think they lost Circuit to both Crazy Raccoon and OA, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they did. They tried it against both teams. They lost against both teams. In fact, OA, what did they use on? What did Gooshway do? Oh, no, it was Liga. Liga beat
Liga
the
and
Sigma
Mew
comp
popped off.
with Diva.
Mew popped
Yeah,
off.
it was Liga. Liga
playing the
played
brig.
Diva and beat it. I remember
Was that
now.
before? Was that before Jaywu played the May? Because Mew was having a field day on the brig, and then VP counter swapped, I think, to May
Jaywu.
to shut down the brig and like slow it
I know.
down.
I know. Fixer died a shitload in his series versus both teams. And I
Yeah.
was theorizing in the co-stream that Fixer is a very active brig in the EMEA games. You see him on the kill feed all the time. He's fragging out. He's doing everything. He's like obviously doing a lot of work. But then you just like you bash into these top Chinese Korean teams and you just die. You just see Fixer.
Yeah.
So instead of seeing Fixer killing people on the kill feed, you just see him dying on the kill feed, run repeat. Which is
Yeah.
what happened in
he
these
had a
series.
But I did-
really rough series.
I think Fixa had a good Soup Cup, which gave me confidence going into this one, and he played all right. But then I think Mew was just like an insane standout for once again on that Circuit Real. Like Mew was just on it with the rallies and the pushes, like great pushes with rally.
Yeah, you remember in 2021, he had one of the best brigs we'd ever seen on Chengdu.
Yeah, that and there was someone else. There was another support who was amazing on Brig 2, Ranked Spark.
2021? Are you thinking of like was that skewed?
No, that was
Skewed
for
a
LA
very
Gladiators.
good
Also
brig.
another great brig, but it wasn't Monk, was it? No, Monk was a.
No, Monk's flat.
Monk plays on
yeah,
a
Monk
I
plays
can't
Ana
remember.
for them.
Someone had like an amazing brig too, Frank Spark. I can't remember now. It was like 3 years.
Someone.
For Chengdu or
Spark.
was it Super Rich?
I mean,
No,
Super
I
was
didn't
also
remember
Or
great.
was
playing
it-
a lot of brig. He only played
Or
Lucio, right?
was it IDK? Was it one of the old Spark players?
No.
No, I don't think IDK.
Okay, was there
ever had
someone
a
called
particularly great
Nisha?
Season,
No?
so I definitely
Nisha
don't
was on
think it
Chengdu. Nisha was on Chengdu.
Did Nisha play brig? I don't know if I can know. I'm just saying.
Nisha played Brig on Chengdu with they swapped between Yveltal and Nisha. On Chengdu.
I'm not confident enough to say it was Nisha, but there was
He did
someone who
play
came
brig.
in and played like a great brig too. I can't remember who that was, but oh well.
But Nisha was not on Spark. He was on Chengdu.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
that was a really good point, Johnny.
it was another great. Anyway, we're talking about the great brig players of all time. for China. But yeah, I think for Virtus Pro, like like it still should be enough depth there. Like you can play the Sigma, the Ram, and Diva, and like some metas that's going to not be good enough, but most of the time you should be able to play one of those 3 compositions and have a reasonable chance at winning a map in a series, So I don't care much to like complain about Virtus Pro versatility because I think they have their comps and they look really good on them, but just wasn't enough this time around. They lost to Grace Raccoon. So
I will just say bracket-wise, I understand why the seeding was the way it was. I just dislike the way the bracket was created because it meant that essentially you had both EU teams on the same side of the bracket. You had EMEA number 1 playing China number 1 in the first game. It's like, come on. And it meant that Al Qadsiah and VP had to knock each other around the losers. It's just like,
yeah.
it's not good. Like,
It's
I
like,
don't think you should make it that way.
Like, you could even argue that this, like, even if this was the more fair seeding, it's like that takes away from like what the majors should be. The majors should be international competition, regions facing off against each other. And like, if it's a little unfair seeding here and there, then like so be it. But
like, you can't have this tournament without a single NA versus EU game, right? Surely, not a single one.
yeah, that's why we watch. You know, that's why NA versus EMEA. Like, there's a rivalry there. Like, people like to like root for their region. You know, so I agree. Al Qadsiah versus Pro in the first round. It's just not how it should be. All right, so SSG, I think
Hello?
SSG is worth talking about, and then
Hi, Jack.
What?
wait.
Did you not hear me, Johnny?
Oh my god, I forgot that when I remove your cam, we can't hear you.
I'm like, my ass is speaking.
that's
This happened
funny.
before, and I was like speaking
You
in.
sent him to the
sorry,
shadow
really,
realm.
really
Sent him to
sorry.
the shadow realm. I love that.
I hid your cam to show the bracket, and I forgot it mutes your audio.
Thanks, bro.
So it's the same thing before as well. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
bro.
I
What
was
were you
like
gonna say?
speaking,
What were you gonna
and you
say?
were just like, "Oh, fucking rambling or whatever." I was like, "What the fuck, bro's just speaking."
What did you
over
want
me.
to
All
say?
right, fair enough.
What are you trying to
gonna
say?
say?
I said the bracket makers were like, "Yeah, Nightmare's definitely gonna lose to a crazy Raccoon, bro. They'll get their game." That was it. That was my comment.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Jack. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
That's good
Let's
to
move
know,
on.
though. I have that power. You know.
No, the production goes crazy on this.
Yeah.
One. SLMN.
Yeah, I think it's worth talking about SSG as well, because I at least had a lot of high hopes for SSG, and they lost to once again in pretty unique fashion, I'd say. You know, the King's Row attack, the Circuit Royale comp. I'm curious, you know, what you guys thought about these Winston May comps and putting Sugar Free on
I'm
the
trying
May
to think
and
of the
such, and-
fucking match. I can't even fucking remember this piece of shit. What
I
was
did.
match?
This was
So-
this was a hard
so-
one to remember. This
I can
was tough on
recap.
Steve's
I can
schedule.
recap. The first 2 maps were ugly. SSG got dominated. The second 2 maps, SSG started making a comeback to the point where map 4 was a genuine 50-50. So it was actually starting to look rough for once again in map 4. It was looking like the possibility of reverse sweep was getting real. And you could see that maybe the OA exhaustion was setting in. But the first 2 maps was like, might as well just have been Crazy Raccoon versus SSG all over again. It was not pretty.
Okay, I vaguely remember this, but like, what was this? What did something crazy happen in this series, or was it? Like,
You sound tired now. You sound like you've been up all night. It's been a long podcast, but
bro, we're about to go to fucking hour 4.
Yeah,
This-
it's a
hour
long
4?
one.
Bro,
No, we're not.
No, we're about to be hour 3.
Yeah.
but still,
This is
hour-
a typical
3
tournament
hours.
recap length.
It's a big
Yeah,
recap.
I know.
Are
It's a
you
big recap.
washed?
3,
Are
dude,
you
3
wa-
hours. I
you
mean, like,
washed,
I'm gonna be
bro.
honest.
We just
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm just simply saying that. I mean, if anything, it's more just incredulous that I can't believe people like listen to this shit for 3 hours. Like, that's crazy. Like, I can't. So, I mean, if they
Which
listen,
is
I
that
mean,
funny. With that funny
God's
entertaining.
strongest soldiers. God's strongest
Yeah.
soldiers. I mean, I'm just. I legitimately am trying to remember because I feel like Space Station. I don't remember anything other than Hunter flashing the binder of Kasoras up on.
Yeah,
stage.
the binder was the funny part of the series.
I don't remember a single fucking thing about this team other than that they were not. They didn't have a good tournament. And Hunter, I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
I mean, I'm trying
literally
to, but
not
I'm thinking of
joking.
like CJ's Ana and like Suravasa in the against CC. That's I'm trying to think of like Space Station Gaming moments from this tournament, but
That's the
CJ Sana
question.
is like
Can
it.
you? Can you think of the
Sugar Free.
moments?
That was a fun series to cast with Jake because we were going crazy on the cast and just like sleep deprived. They were just shouting when they beat CC, but yeah,
I just don't think they had a very good tournament. Like,
I
they just didn't- they
remember-
didn't look very strong.
I remember Jake was like, "Oh, this is such a big moment for NA. Wow, this is the peak Overwatch." I'm like, dude, They're beating up the worst team of the tournament. It's not that, guys. It's not that good. We need to calm down. We're gonna bring the energy down a little bit. This is not peak Overwatch.
I
guys.
do remember that. I do remember that because Jake was like fucking like he was popping the fuck off of the cast, and I was like, what is? If AVRL was like, what is he yapping about? Even myself, I was like, what is he talking about? Like, what is Jake even saying? I'm sure he himself was like fucking tired as shit, so it wasn't like
No, we were like,
statement.
because we got a couple of matches each day, day 1 and 2, I think, to like rest up. And but like the thing is, it's like between 3 and 5, or like 2 and 5 a.m. Like you're resting, but you're almost like going to sleep, and so then you have to get energized again for the series, and like it's so jarring to like get into casting at 5 a.m. But he had a Celsius, and he just we just leaned into the energy. We're just like, we're not gonna make the smartest, cast of all time, so let's just lean into the excitement, and so we just went crazy. But I mean, I don't know how it came across, but he was the cast of all time.
That is making me laugh now thinking about Jay. This is so big for North America. They're beating all the fucking these guys don't even have access to the game of Overwatch in China.
Don't put it like that. Don't put it like that, bro.
Oh shit, that's funny. Oh my god.
We were truly losing our minds. It was.
I do remember. Yeah, now you're saying. I remember that sugar-free 1v1 versus Shy. You just showed the little thing there, but he just fucking like hard lost the 1v1 when Shy was 1 HP on the Ash. But no, I do remember looking over because Jake does that. Like he's fucking in. He's just locked the fuck in, and then you're like, yeah, that's pretty fucking sick. Like you're just you're like, well, it's because your demeanor versus Jake's, especially when Jake's very riled up, you're like very mellow a lot of the time. You're like a very mellow guy anyway, Johnny, and like. And
I think we had good energy for the EMEA finals.
No, you had good energy, but like I'm saying, you're normally very mellow. So seeing Jake like 17 espresso shots in, and then like it's just like the dichotomy was just very funny. It was
I mean, I'll have to rewatch it, but it was. I just remember just like shouting. Like my voice was.
That's what I'm saying.
My voice was gone after shouting about like pulse bombs from Kaneki, and I was like, "What is happening here?"
It was funny.
It was hype though, because it was mirror. These mirror comps are so hype because you get pulse bombs, primals.
Yes.
Like
it was fun watching mirror comps, and I think the problem for Space Station, when I think about them for like once again too, is like I think a lot of teams they fell into the trap where they're like Nightmare did this a little bit as well, where they don't feel as confident, like obviously playing the Winston as some of these like Chinese teams in particular into like Gushwei. So like we're gonna try to force the Hazard.
Yeah.
And the Hazard like definitely has a lot of issues potentially into like some of the longer range comps, especially into the Ana, where I think that's where like Space Station struggled a bit when they're playing Kellen. Is like Kellen should be able to like match Winston, but he's still not like as good of a Winston as. And honestly, he's probably had a bit of muscle atrophy after being in North America. And,
muscle atrophy.
like he's
not
not
playing
like
Winston for so long.
Yeah, not playing as much Winston. So like they try to play like a lot of this stuff. I mean, like it's so. I do think Space Station just they didn't have a particularly amazing tournament, and B, they were trying to counter comp. I think in a way that just doesn't fit, like into what the meta was being played to a degree. Like trying to force the Hazard, even though Nightmare had some success with it. I just don't think like Space Station looked particularly great. But it could be a coin flip. Maybe show up a different day. They look a bit better. I mean, they played. I think for Team CC, they just didn't look that good. But most important, I was going to start talking about the Farway lore, but I was like, nah.
Wasn't that also the series where Gaga missed the primal timing and fell off the map?
He fell off the map.
Yeah,
Gaga fell off the map. Yes, Gaga fell off the map.
Dude, Jake was losing his fucking mind over that, bro.
Yeah.
He was like,
he must have been chewing. He must have been chewing like the Green Beret caffeine gum.
No, he just had a Celsius.
He did that in Overwatch League. He was drinking he was like chewing on the gum that he used to keep like special forces soldiers awake for like 72 hours.
That sounds like such a Jake thing to do.
Is that even legal? That sounds like some illegal.
I don't know if it's illegal, but he was doing it. I distinctly remember him chewing it in season 1.
It's like some military grade stimulants to keep me awake.
I have a lot of caffeine throughout the day, and I had 1 Celsius, and I was like, "This is some real shit. This is
Dude,
different."
that's 200 milligrams of caffeine.
It's a lot. Well, the whole
fucked.
brand is supposed to be like for like you're supposed to be like a hardcore like fitness dude, and like you're gonna go get pumped. And it was funny because like they're actually based out of Florida. They're part out of Florida. This is gonna be a very funny attention that connects back to gaming. Just trust me on this one. And so Misfits was also near them. Like Misfits headquarters was near the Celsius HQ, and I had a friend when Misfits essentially dissolved. They're like, I'm gonna go apply for Celsius and interview for them, and they essentially got an interview, and they're told me, yeah, like we don't really want to be associated with fucking nerds. So like, they're like, yeah, what do you like? Yeah, I do all this gaming stuff, and like essentially like Celsius as a company was like, yeah, fuck gaming. Like these guys are a bunch of dorks. Like so it was like, it's super funny to hear Jay. Like it's just something funny to like, yeah, we're all chugging Celsius. Is like, yeah, that's the Overwatch League or the OWCS like energy drink of choice for late night casting. And then the whole company's motto is like, yeah, if you play games, you're a fucking loser. Like.
Anyway, code Plat Chat 50 to get 50% off your next
Yeah,
sales. Anyway,
yeah.
just saying.
Boy. Oh man,
That's
funny.
it. That's all I got.
That's funny.
I mean, disappointing from Space Station as a whole. Like, what the fuck?
Is it though? Because the teams they lost to was Crazy Raccoon and 08, who I consider to basically be arguably top 3 because we never saw 08 versus Nightmare.
I just felt I think Sugar Free was a little muted in this series as a whole, to be honest.
I think CJ and the Kiriko too.
I just don't think they showed up as much as I think everybody hoped. I expect this to go to like, okay, we're fucking super fucking close. Like, holy shit, they might knock them out kind of thing. It was
This map got close though.
Yeah,
SSG
had a big
I felt
lead.
like I think Space Station underperformed. I had a lot more hope for the team going into this tournament.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, before the event, I said SSG was my number 3 team. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they lost to once again, but it is
It's like understandable, sure, you lose to a Korean team, but like,
no, I'd never thought they'd like truly like. I mean, we've been through so many events now, like dating back to Dallas last year, where people are like, "Oh, the Scrim Bucks,
Yeah, sure.
Western teams might have a chance." Like, ever since that event, like you're
Motherfuckers
on
aren't
some
trying in
serious
scrims.
fucking copium if you think the Western teams will beat the Koreans. And so, like,
Yeah.
I've never tapped into that. And yes, Nightmare beat CR this time, but like we talked about,
and then
There was-
CR smack.
yeah. Exactly. So, but I did think that SSG could have beaten once again, and they could have been the 3rd best team in the tournament. And so, in that retrospect, they lost to OA. Yeah. So I guess I had hoped for more. So SSG Predator, I had hoped for more, but it is what it is, I guess. Tough. Yeah. I mean, they got 4 ults here, 3 minutes on board. They got the lead. They just couldn't close it out, man. Just couldn't close it out.
Seeker had a good map. I think Seeker was pretty weak during the series, but this map he popped off.
I think
He had a lot
Seeker
of
had the
highlights.
best, by far, was the most consistent player on SSG the whole tournament. I think he was overall pretty good. I think Sugar Free was pretty quiet. Honestly, it was not a Sugar Braun performance, maybe a Sugar Brawny performance potentially.
Okay.
He had a couple of
So I
moments
don't-
against once again. Or,
Yeah,
sorry, no,
but
against
I
SCC.
still think holistically, I think Seeker had the far better tournament. And I'm not even blaming that fully on the DPS. I was about to say duelist, fucking Marvel Rivals. It's not even putting this on the DPS line like totally for Space Station. Honestly, I don't think they look like particularly good across the board, but I think Seeker had a pretty good event. And I still think he shows that you can have like he's still a very, very like good player. He is one of like the white boy's greatest hope on HitScan.
Yeah, I mean it's an insane damage lineup. Kellan's on his best hero. I don't think you could have asked for much of a better lineup really if you wanted to have a great chance of getting 3rd. So there you go, SSG. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time talking about CC and
Al
Al
Qadsiah.
Qadsiah. Yeah.
Do you wanna
From
talk
what
about
I
Farway?
heard,
From Team CC.
Please just do the Farway dub. Do the Farway dub, please.
The fact that this guy didn't know about this before.
No,
is
didn't we
so
already
funny.
talk? Wait, did we already talk about this last Plat Chat? Or am I going crazy?
No, I read the tweet
No,
during
you
the event,
only
and that
learned
was the
the
first time I
lore.
read about it when I saw the tweet.
Okay.
You learned the lore during the coaching when I told you about it, and you apparently didn't know this before.
It is the funniest thing. It's only funny because he's a guy, so we can laugh about it. But like, it's like, I think like overall, like, it's funny because like, Johnny, you know the lore, right? You know it now.
Well, because I read your tweet. That's how I found out.
Oh, because you read my tweet?
Like Johnny didn't know the lore before the tweet. How many people didn't know the life?
I mean, I think it was kind of esoteric that Farway's 1987's name was his wife's birthday. That is 14 years older than him. That he met when he was 17 years old.
Okay, I did not know that lawn dump either.
Yeah.
What? How many people didn't know this?
Yeah, his whole last name is the birthday of his wife.
So
who
how
was
did you find
14
this out?
years older than him.
How did we find this out?
Avril told me.
I
and
told
where did Avril
him.
learn this from? And where did Avril learn this from?
I just learned it through social media, I guess.
Okay.
I was not
Let's put
aware.
an asterisk on that, by the way. That-
No, it was definitely backed
it's-
up. We've got other people
it's
have
backed
confirmed
up.
as well that it's been backed up
Oh,
from Chinese
wait,
social
yeah,
media.
I found it. There's a source on Wikipedia, but the video's been taken down. There was a Billy
Yeah.
video that was sourced on Wikipedia.
They probably took it down because they're like,
took
wait,
it down.
guys, like, isn't this a crime? They probably took it down because they're like, I mean, like, is that not insanity? They were like, that his wife is 14 years older than him and met him when he was 7.
Well, I said this to Connor the coach and was like, you know what? Farway was just like, you know, I'm sick of this bullshit. The age gap situation and the predatory's usually the other way around. I'm gonna do the opposite.
I'm getting
different.
groomed. I'm
He's
getting
gonna
groomed for the culture this
He,
time.
he was like, I don't want to be the same as the others. I'm gonna be different. So he went
So
backwards.
yeah,
He
that's
went
the
the
only
reverse.
thing about Team CC. If you're from the Chinese community, please elucidate us if that is like 100% correct.
Wait, are they still
but to
married?
our understanding, yes, from our understanding, and there's also supposedly rumors that he had a child recently as well. So like,
Wait, okay, I don't know about that one. That one.
I'm just saying,
I don't know.
those are rumors.
Rumors.
Rumors, not. But pretty much, if you're from the Chinese community, please elucidate. Was Farway 1987 groomed by his wife? Was that? Did that happen?
my
or did
God.
that happen?
Jesus.
Oh my
I-
Jesus Christ, bro.
I need you.
Holy shit.
Well, I mean, I want you. Is that not the textbook definition? If she's 17 years old and she is 14, she's in her 30s. I mean, like, come on. Like, once again, I'm not. I mean, like, they don't give a shit. They're not gonna care what I. They probably don't even. They're never gonna even watch Plat Chat, so they don't give a fuck. Like, so like,
Okay,
they
so
don't
actually,
live their
Dude,
life.
if
First
I
of all,
open
they do.
Twitter
But
tomorrow
they-
and there's a bunch of Chinese fans tweeting at me,
Chinese fans
okay,
elucidate for us.
You do know that we have Chinese fans that upload Plat Chat episodes.
Okay,
to
this is their
I did
chance.
not know
This
that.
is
I
their
did not know
chance.
that about
Chinese
the
fans.
Overwatch.
Chinese fans. You need to tell us if we're right or wrong. If I'm wrong, I will apologize.
This is only part one of the lore. Here's part two. I'm gonna be the one to tell this. So this is my favorite part of the lore. Part two of the
But the
Farway
part two
lore.
is not. The part two is. Just,
I like the part two.
okay, yeah.
Is when you
Sure.
you look at the name. It's like 1987. You're like, okay, that's the birthday of his wife. And of course, the next thing you do is like, well, what's the age gap? And then you check his birthday, right? And so you start to do the math. So, well, hang on a second. What's his birthday? You go to his Wikipedia, and then you're like, wait, what the fuck? His birthday is it's September 11th, 2001.
He
The
was born on
September 11th.
9/11.
He
Yeah,
was born on not
9/11.
just 9/11. He was born on the 9/11. The 9/11.
What
Let me
other
tell you this.
national
Let me
event?
let me tell you this.
What
Let me tell you
are
this.
you
Let me tell you
talking
this.
about?
Hang on, let me tell you this. 2 towers may have fallen, but one legend was born.
This guy's
That is the
crazy.
craziest thing someone's ever
this
said
guy's
on this
crazy.
podcast. That is the craziest thing
Oh,
someone has ever said on this podcast.
Oh my! Wait, his writing's this fire? His writing's this fire? Like that? That's
Peak
that's
fiction. Peak fiction.
episode. This
holy.
is the last Plat Chat episode.
Scorsese could not. He could not direct this.
We're getting banned on YouTube. This is the last episode. We're getting banned. That's
Woo.
crazy.
Billy
there's been
fans,
some
let me know what you think of that one.
There's been some heat dropped this
Did you
episode.
say Billy? Let me know what you think about
No,
that
Billy
one.
fans. Billy fans. Because I know they're
Billy
watching.
fans.
I know this is gonna get uploaded on Billy, so let me know.
Dude, okay, so why now is Farway 2025?
That's
I
the
don't know.
question,
New-
right?
is that the
Some
kid?
people
New
have
New
said
Me?
that it's the child. There are other more ominous implications.
Oh, wait,
but,
it's the child.
but I think it's probably
Wait a
that
second.
more than likely. I mean, it could just be like Evil, where Evil's like, yeah, I got to change my name every year for a fresh start. But like, it's very odd that he kept 1987 for multiple years and then he just went 2025. Like, I don't know, whatever it may be. Like, I'm sure it's funny.
Dude, the Chinese fans are gonna go crazy with this one.
I hope so. I hope they let me know. I mean, like, I hope they let me know. I want the Chinese fans to let me know if is this not insanity? I mean, they may be in love, but it's kind of crazy. So just let us know, China. Just let us know on that one. That was a near bliss Ajax, by the way. That was a near bliss Ajax.
That's a near bliss Ajax, yeah.
Unrelated to everything that just happened there.
All right.
Nice.
Okay. I think we're done. I think we're done talking about Farway's birth date.
Avast waited 3 hours for that. Avast waited 3 hours to tell us this.
Honestly, I actually wasn't waiting for that. I was watching the energy match in VCT, so I wasn't like, so I was. But it was a good moment. It was a good moment.
He's watching right now.
We don't need to invoke that anymore. All right. Well, there you go. For Al Qadsiah, you know, they took a map of Falcons. Basically, kind of like. The rumor mill a little bit was that I don't think they went into the event the most, how do I say this? Feeling the best about their gameplay. And so, you know, you saw some tank subs and stuff like that, but I wouldn't hold their performance against them too much. They lost to VP, tough. They lost to Falcons. So, not the best tournament for Al Qadsiah, but, you know, I'm not going to hang it over their heads and be like, well, you went out in the first
Very
round.
odd team, I would say, overall for Al Qadsiah. This is a team that always felt a little odd. I mean, they took a map. They took a map off of who'd they take them out? It was
Falcons.
Falcons.
In a best of 3. So people were all ready to just like pop off and be like,
they were very close to sending Falcons to the lower bracket. So I mean, like, I do think that. I guess to be fair, like, yeah, Qadsiah, they just. Interesting identity for that team. I feel like also AVRL, you pointed out, I remember watching it, was like, why didn't they just play like Tread full time, I believe? Like if they were gonna play
Ziad. They played Tread instead of Ziad.
Yeah.
And apparently there was a rumor that Junkbuck, the coach, didn't get along with Ziad, and so he played Tread for that reason. But then eventually in the lower bracket, when Al Qadsiah were losing, he had to pull Ziad back out, who I think immediately looked better on the team because Ziad had been the starter for Al Qadsiah for the whole year, right? And Tread was like the bench player, and then
pretty much the whole year. Tread played a couple of times, but yeah, Ziad is the main tank.
And then strangely, Tread was starting in this tournament, and
which is very weird.
Exactly.
I mean, I think you could tell immediately that Tread synergy wasn't there at the same level it was in the EMEA finals. So
yeah, I think Junkbuck probably just had issues with Ziad. That rumor might be true, and that could be the reason why Tread was starting.
Yeah.
Because they definitely lacked a bit of identity, I feel. I also felt like Checkmate never really found... Like, Checkmate was good at points on this team. Like, pretty good still. Like, it was Checkmate. But definitely didn't have some of, like, the star power, the star oomph. But I think a lot of that just comes down to the fact that Overwatch is a team game. And if your team's not giving you the same level of space and resources, like, you're not going to see necessarily a Mayhem 2023 performance.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think... Labd is obviously the star of the show for the whole team. Like... I tweeted out during the tournament, but like he is the most improved player going from last to this year. 2024 to 2025, I think he's the most improved player. Easily. He's a beast. He's a beast. He was like a, little projectile player, like, chilling on the fire and shit like that, like funny heroes and stuff. And then he comes out on Sojourn and starts like doming quartz and shit. It's crazy. He's an absolute juggernaut in EU now.
Yeah, Labda had an insane serve also, right? That's why they won the map against Falcons?
Yeah, he's a freak on Sojourn. He's just insane. Yeah.
So yeah, tough. When they did play Ziad and they played like the double speed Juno Lucio on Esperanza, like in the lower bracket against VP, like they looked so much better. Like they looked great. So it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate tournament for them. Well, that wraps up the recap a little bit. I guess I'll just ask this to kind of wrap up the tournament as well. I put this in the YouTube title. And I guess we'll all kind of agree with this take by now, but I guess Lip is the undisputed GOAT of Overwatch Esports.
Yeah, he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Yep.
He holds the title now.
Well, does he Ajax and get paid for it? No. Violet's my GOAT for it.
That's so true. That is
True.
He's never been paid for an Ajax.
He's got a really good point.
Fun fact, someone, Florida Mayhem Toronto Defiant, someone did a Q&A recently, and his fans asked him who he thinks the GOATs are overall and across the roles. And I believe he said, I'm basing this off memory now, Smurf, Violet, and Striker are his 3 GOATs in their respective roles.
Wait, who said that? Who said that?
Someone someone MVP 2023, someone Floor Mayhem.
Okay, well, all
He
right.
said his goats are Striker, Violet.
So
and,
you can't shit talk it because he said it. He won. You can't shit talk it. You can't shit talk it.
I'm sorry.
Wow,
I'm
wow.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, someone.
and Smurf.
You're wrong. You're wrong, someone. I'm sorry.
So
I honestly
not
think
a
that's
lip
a
believer.
crazy pull though from someone. I didn't even
Striker
see that
is a bit of
interview.
a holy shit. He's got the clip.
That is a crazy pool for sure. I mean, I do think overall does Lip's winningness like 100% put him as like
That is so stupid. It doesn't get old.
Hey, never really.
Dumbest Ajax of all time.
Dude, does Lip's winningness definitely put him like I get it, but like I personally believe if you maybe put like Violet on some of these other rosters, like maybe we get into the reverse conversation, you know, like could you put Violet on a crazy Raccoon?
Okay. Am I losing my mind here? You can actually hold some of these moments against Violet. Like, bro.
Yeah,
that Ajax,
yeah,
you can
obviously.
literally-
I mean, look at the
Like,
clip we
I
just
feel like-
watched.
I
That
feel
clip, it was heinous. It was absolutely heinous.
I can't in any way like defend this. If I'm making the case that Violet's the Overwatch GOAT, I can't be like, yeah, he Ajaxes and yeah, he has some throw moments, but
Yeah,
he's
he
still
throws.
the GOAT though. Like I can't argue that. I'm
The
sorry.
thing is, okay, but the thing, so
His
I'm gonna
reputation
give
is
some-
so
I'm gonna
tarnished
put
and
a
memed
little
on
bit of
that, like, it
I'm gonna
can't
put
be
a little
both.
bit of cope specifically for this. Not that I'm not even arguing for Violet to be the GOAT anymore because I do think that like, you know, there are some reasons why I think Lip should legitimately potentially beat him out at this point, but like Violet also has spent what the last when did he swap to main support? What year was it?
God,
Shock?
2020
2022 Shock, yeah.
2020, yeah, something like
So
that.
he's been playing main support for essentially 3 years, and you know so essentially at this point I would guess does he have an equivalent amount of time with flex or main, or is his flex still longer because he played earlier? Right?
Probably
Has he been
Flex
played,
is still longer because he played before.
Yeah. So I do think for someone that swapped roles and is like still like fighting for a GOAT conversation, it's still very impressive. You know, like he's not even playing the role that made him famous. Essentially, like he's playing a completely different role and is still put on like good performances like on that role. So I do think that's something that Lip has not had to do. Lip as much as might be the GOAT, this guy did not have to fucking
Lip
swap.
has not had to do that.
He's not had to
flexed
swap
between
role.
multiple
He
roles.
hasn't. He hasn't had to swap roles. Now, do I think that necessarily means that it's like invalidated or things? I will say though, like if you are a Violet copium huffer, like there is a strategic copium reserve that can be
Listen.
found there.
I have the most military grade cope for Violet you'll ever see. And what it comes down to is if you compare career lifetime earnings, including the throw payments, Violet's the GOAT.
I mean, wait. So if you include the throw, okay.
If you include the
throw
PayPal
payments.
Cash App payments, Violet's the GOAT 100%.
He also got so much Overwatch League money that like it kind of skews it a little bit there, but
No, but by pure winnings, Lip has won way more by now. By pure winnings. Not money. I don't know about money. I actually don't know in terms of pure tournament money, but in terms of titles, Lip has won more titles by now.
it is
For sure.
crazy. You look at Violet's resume here and wins 2019, wins 2020, fourth in 2021, second in 2022, second in 2023. Like, bro was in how many grand finals? Four grand finals and got fourth place in 2021,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
And I hear that if you're a match fixer, you get paid more for throwing grand finals. Which is why he's second all the time.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, this guy is laying down some fucking conspiracies.
The original GOAT is obviously Profit, but
Yeah.
you know, didn't have the same. I think it's fair to say now didn't have the same accolades and didn't have the same career duration even. Compared to some of these guys still playing, like Lip has been dominant for what
Dude, I
5,
can't
6
believe
years
fucking
now.
Violet was on Outlaws, man. Jesus Christ.
And Lip is bringing it every series, every meta for every
Yeah.
team. Lip is just dominating on the hit.
Lip is the
in
GOAT.
the most
Lip is the
impactful
Overwatch
role.
GOAT.
Yeah, so
100%.
You could throw-
Especially given Violet doesn't even have a team anymore. He's currently teamless, which is a bit of a shock as well.
yeah. 25 years old, he's washed.
Okay.
People like to bring up Smurf as well, and as much as you know, I love Smurf too. I think Lip is just has a better
wins it out.
resume than
Smurf has
yeah.
won more world championships though, right? 3? Lip has got
Smurf won 29,
Two
2020, and
last year
last year.
Falcons.
Yeah.
Lip won 2021 with Shanghai Dragons, and
that's it.
yeah, that's it. But yeah, I mean, I did this scuffed graphic on the broadcast as well, where I was trying to make some historical kind of like reference going into the finals. So like there was that graphic was like chasing 9th major win, chasing 7th major win. That was my attempt at trying to contextualize the finals with some history, but it's kind of scuffed because like, do you count playoffs and major stages titles the same? And like you obviously don't, but like it was my attempt to try to make something like that happen. So it was kind of scuffed, but Lip has won a ton of stages and ton of other stuff as well. And maybe some of that was only like East, like for Shanghai Dragons, like, oh, we won in the East, but we didn't win in the West. Like it gets weird because you have 3 different like formats over the course of like 5-6 years. But Lip has been great for so long in his career and always delivers. So I think Lip is the GOAT. There we go. Absolutely not. That was a Champions Clash recap for you.
Okay.
No? Yeah.
Good.
We're still on the clock here. Avast is... we were not even get paid overtime.
Look how locked in he is. Look how
totally
Avast is. He's locked into something.
He's playing Subway Surfers. What were you going to say, bro?
I was about to jump the gun. I thought we were about to do Bren's player of the match, Bren's player of the week rather. I was like,
I mean, I think with there, I don't think there's anything else.
Clearly, Lip being the GOAT must be Bren's player of the week.
Well, what happened on TikTok this week, Avast?
Appeal to TikTok?
I mean, honestly, you know, the biggest thing that happened to TikTok doesn't know where I'm at algorithm. They used to think I was a lesbian. For some reason, the TikTok algorithm thought I was a lesbian woman.
Oh, okay.
Which, I mean, I kind of enjoyed. I enjoyed lesbian talk, honestly. But it's been kind of taking me off. It's now mostly gaming related, which I'm cool with. A lot of Oblivion remastered
I like
memes, which I'm a fan of. But it's giving me a lot of like cleaning TikToks. They give me a lot of like, here's how to clean your house properly TikToks.
I love them.
You need to put this on
so
you need to put this on like Asmongold's for your page, not mine.
No, I think that's still lesbian algorithm. You're still there. You actually
think so. And then it's kind of a mix of just like relationship memes and like food on top of the video game. But the thing is, I've distinctly lost the specific lesbian talk humor though. So I don't really know what happened there, like what indicators that I put off necessarily. So TikTok, if you have the data scientist here for TikTok, could you let me know what I did to potentially get myself off of lesbian TikTok? Because I enjoyed some of the jokes. I could laugh along. I was like the girls, the gays, and Connor. So just let me know like what's going on there.
I can summarize all that. Basically, Avast would like to put Farway forward as player of the week.
No, but it would be funny. Probably player of the week would be like. Actually, I have
actual player of the week.
I have an actual player of the week, and this is an interesting one, even though they're not a winner. Kuffa.
Okay, for hyping up the crowd.
What's the case?
Well, the reason I put Kuffa is because I think he is the first white boy main tank player to get it popping in a long time.
Okay.
Get it popping.
I think he's the first white boy main tank player to get it popping in a long time. Like, yes, did they not? They didn't do like they didn't win, but they got 3rd place. I think he's had a very interesting career where he's playing on like really high ping and doing really well for like a very large portion of his career. He has a really good flexibility. Obviously, you could also go for like some of the Chinese. I think it's fair if we want to nominate someone from like maybe
or Zira,
or obviously some of the or Zira. But like I'm gonna go Kuffa, and the reason I'm going Kuffa over Zira is simply because Zira is a really, really good talent, and I don't think it's wrong to necessarily nominate him. But it's a lot harder to find extremely good Western main tank talent, especially not just main tank talent, but talent that can also flex off of main tanks into like the off tank category even too. So I find Kuffa to be a bit more of an anomaly than Zira because I think there's still plenty of really good Western DPS players, even though Zira had an insane performance. Kuffa to me feels like a harder find than a Zira does. But obviously I would not be mad with Zira because I think they had a really, really good performance and they were obviously a really, really talented player. It's just to me, Kuffa is kind of like it's kind of like the central component that you need to make a sort of a Western-oriented team like Nightmare work. Because I don't think, like, if you get rid of Kuffa, like, who do they play with? Like, what Western main tank does Nightmare play with if you don't Kuffa?
I mean,
can take
there's
Hardy.
some other, infected.
I think the thing about infected is I think he's a ball merchant. Unfortunately, right now he has to beat the ball
Infected
merchant.
is a ball merchant.
He's got. I think he has to beat the ball merchant. Like he has. To
He's
beat
the
ball
most.
merchant.
I think he's the most
good.
flexible Western tank. Infected, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, so here's the reason why I'm saying that I think it might be a ball merchant is that my last couple times watching him, I was like, man, he seems like he's doing by far the most on ball, which is the best pick by far. And I feel like Cuff's flexibility is not unreasonable. And also, like, I would 9 times out of 10, I'd rather have a player that's better at Winston than a player that's better at ball. And I think Cuff is a better Winston player. So, I'm kind of on the Cuff ahead right now. But I will say, like, it could be infected slander a little bit because we haven't seen him play for a tad. So
I feel like a little bit recency bias there, to be honest.
Might be a little bit of infected slander, but like I remember my last impressions were like, wow, infected's really good, but I'm kind of really impressed with like Cuff's flexibility and the fact that he plays Winston at a higher level.
What do you think about Tony Gilroy for making Andor?
I don't know.
Okay, I've started watching.
I know
it,
Andor.
Don't spoil.
I don't know
Don't
who
spoil.
the other. I don't know who
I'm on
Tony
the
Gilroy
second
is. I know
episode,
Andor,
bro.
though.
It's good.
Is Tony
It's good,
Gilroy
Jaws.
the director?
It's good.
I'm enjoying it so far.
It's a really good show.
Yeah, it's pretty
Feels good.
Is-
It feels
is-
good once a year. when
Is
you get-
Tony Gilroy the director? Who is Tony Gilroy?
Yeah.
It's Tony Gilroy.
Okay.
It feels
Just
good
wanted
when
to
you
know
get
that.
some Star Wars.
Could you
back in your
respond to
life.
my text as well,
Nice.
Connor? When are we playing Split Fiction?
A good question.
Mm.
I've been very busy.
Yeah, I know
had
you
to
are.
unpack my shit.
Which is fine. Which is
I have an
fine.
exciting announcement on the horizon.
Really
Exciting announcement on the horizon.
full-time streamer.
Let's just say that the people aren't going to be expecting it. Let's
Oh
just say that
shit!
the
Wait
people
a
aren't gonna be
second.
expecting it.
He's
My
returning as a
boy's
pro player.
employed. He's employed.
I'm coming back to
People
pro
aren't
play.
expecting this.
I'm
You're coming
taking my
back?
talents back to Oxygen Esports.
Yes, Oxygen Esports.
Isn't that like the
Oxygen
group that essentially took over like the craft esports group essentially?
Yeah,
It was
Boston, right?
Oxygen?
Yeah.
yeah, for Boston. So
All right,
I'm going home to Oxygen Esports in the COD League.
great.
Let's get it.
Well, I hope we made that one Brent Player of the Week guy proud. It was not a French thing singing this week, but at least,
That which got DMCA, by the way.
yeah, we did. I
Yeah,
had to, I had
it's
to
on
mute
Spotify.
audio.
By
Yeah.
the way.
It's
Les
it's tough.
poissons
Stuff.
Les poissons-ci,
Les
il est
poissons-ci.
orange, et des jambes.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next week to talk about Stadium
Goodbye,
16.
everybody.
Yeah, we need to talk about ranked next
And
week.
ranked.
Yippee!
and the Mercy Mafia.